Hi, this is Naroki5. I am going to be doing this until I die or I find something better to do. So please help me achieve this personal and, I think, noble objective by contributing to my Patreon or Subscribe Star. Link is down below. Every little bit helps. Thank you very much.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Red Pill Nation Hangout number 383. Right now, I'm not in the mood for any jokes or anything like that. However, insinuations about Rusin and gimp suits and space aliens will probably be forthcoming at some point. This is Red Pill Nation Hangout number 383. So far, it's just me and my wingman tonight. So far, V and Angel will be joining us at some point. It is obviously not right now, but I'm like I said. With me tonight is to just get to the point here. Rierson, introduce yourself. That's incredibly profound, Rierson. I had no idea you were capable of such deep, immaculate thought. Oh, really? Oh, really? You enjoy the space aliens? Oh, he went to the bathroom. That's what he did. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Okay, so we'll have to wait until he comes back from the bathroom. In the meantime, for those of you who don't know, I am at Patreon as Naroki5. I am at YouTube, Rumble, Odyssey, BitChute, Brighteon, and MGTOW TV. I am also at Facebook, Minds, Gab, MeWe, and Getter. For now, that's about it. Please like, please subscribe, please send out a few shekels. And yeah, I mean, I'm probably gonna have to take some time out when I get back into town here to actually get my Patreon back up and running again. As the goal actually is, believe it or not, as much as I enjoy doing this, I would like to be able to do this and just this and not have to worry about working a day job. But I am not there yet. I will eventually get there, hopefully sooner rather than later. Rierson, there you are. How was your trip to the bathroom?
To the shitter? It was shitty. Might as well just get this out of the way. As per usual, folks, here at the Red Pill Nation Hangout, we have no standards really whatsoever.
Yeah, our other logo standards. Oh, what the hell are those? I guess that's probably why we'll never get the same type of deal that Joe Rogan got with Spotify.
Oh, fuck. Screw Rogan. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what to make of the guy. I really don't. Anyway.
Anyway, yeah. I might not get the money that Joe Rogan does, but I eventually plan to be at or near that level. I'm gonna keep doing this. There might be some, which gets me to the topics. I've got actual haters. I know that I know you there, but that topic 0 is message to my hater, and I think I'm actually going to have to put in brackets, possibly with an S, because there may be more than one of them at this point. Topic number 1: truth about Dr. Respect revealed about mess at Twitch. Topic number 2: Julian Assange is released after deal is arranged. Topic number 3: CNN threatens copyright violation strike on any independent news source that rebroadcasts or has commentary on presidential debates, which conveniently ties into topic number 4. Presidential debate is an absolute debacle for Joe Biden.
Oh, God.
Good God, no kidding. I have to possibly reword this because Angel was going on and on and on and on about this. Turning Merrick Garland was held in contempt of Congress for refusing to turn over Hur Tapes. President Joe Biden exercised executive privilege, and that was that for that one. Topic number 6: Supreme Court rules against obstruction laws against for J6 protesters.
Wow.
Yeah, it was that kind of a week for the Democrats. And if time permits, Amanda Stenberg had to deal with some serious blowback for her diss video, and I do mean some serious blowback.
Oh, fuck.
I couldn't think. Just when who the hell was that? Not the woman who was going to play Snow Brown in the 7 vertically challenged. What? Rachel Zegler. If you thought this Rachel Zegler was bad,
she was.
At least Rachel Zegler could act somewhat modicumly, but I mean, Amanda Stenberg is even worse than Rachel Zegler, who was worse than Brie Larson. And just remember, they might even get worse than Amanda Stenberg.
Well, all things being equal, that's not outside the realm of possibilities. I mean,
and you'll be happy to know that this actress will likely also be a woman of color because DEI. Continue.
Yeah, we'll see how long that lasts for, because Disney's in for a whole world of fucking hurt. People that have been dismissed because they're white and or male or non-gay, whatever. I mean, that James O'Keefe video, Disney's got a whole shit. Disney has a shitstorm waiting. It's brewing, but just wait.
Oh man, I feel so sorry. Well, actually, you know what? Disney is bad. Who the hell is it that does? Who owns the DCCU? Is that that's Time Warner? Yeah, Time Warner is not that far behind, actually. Oh,
I mean, Paramount's gone bankrupt. Disney's shit's about to hit the fan, and it's going to be on. It's on so many levels at the same time. Well, sorry, not so many. It's on a lot of fronts at the same time. You got the MCU has collapsed. Star Wars is pretty much dead. I mean,
yeah, we'll get to that topic when we get to it. Anyway, so let's just start out with something very specific. And you know, hold on a second. I really don't want to give somebody, I mean, haters gonna hate, right? Like, that is very, very obvious. And, you know, the whole issue with this is that, I mean, you know, haters just hate you for whatever reason. But in the past couple of months, and I'd be kind of curious to see if this isn't happening with other people. All right. In the past couple of months, I had a run-in with somebody on Facebook, and I blocked her. And what ended up happening is, for almost every day for the next 2 months, somebody kept trying to hack into my Twitter. And it only stopped probably about 2 weeks ago. But then a lot of other strange shit started happening. One thing about 2 or 3 days ago, I got for 382, because it was 381, got copyright struck for quote unquote medical misinformation, even though it wasn't. What we were talking about was Dr. Fauci, and we didn't actually get into any discussion about medical issues when we were talking about Fauci. We were just talking about what a massive dirtbag Fauci was. But it didn't.
That's a stretch to say the least, but that's with logical minds.
Yeah. We're talking about YouTube. I appealed, it got turned down. I can't post up there for a week, but it's like, you know what? YouTube, and this is the first thing I want to say to my hater. here, the one that did this, because I actually went over to his YouTube page. I think I know who it was. I can't remember his specific name, but yeah, hold on a second. I believe it's called MGTOW as a hate group. I'm not sure. Let me just take a look here, because he is on YouTube. He has had a run-in with a MGTOW content producer named JD Miles for several. Actually, it's going on a couple of years now, and this individual just keeps posting up some of the stupidest goddamn stuff that I have ever seen, and he keeps. And JD Miles has took it on himself to address it. Yeah, MGTOW is a hate group. That's his name. So I have commented on JD Miles' stuff. I have never bothered commenting towards MGTOW as a hate group because MGTOW as a hate group is a dishonest POS. But apparently MGTOW is a hate group, who, by the way, even though he's been streaming for several years now, he has somehow only gained 41 subs, and it's not like I mean, I've actually gained more subs since I started this channel than he has, and he's had several years of a run, and I'm not even trying to gain subs on YouTube at all. But yeah, he struck down one of my YouTube videos for medical misinformation, and I went over and posted up at JD Miles' page. You know what, dude? And I'm going to say this to him because I have a very suspicious feeling that he's probably listening. Mr. MGTOW is a hate group. And I said this to you at JD Miles' video, most recent response to you, but now you're hearing it from me. YouTube comprises 3% of my total following. You want to take down my YouTube channel? Be my guest. I will just simply start up a new one again and be done with it, right? I recently did my did my end of the month survey. I gained 41 followers. No, 47. Sorry, 47 follow. No, so 41 or 47. I think it was 41 over the month of June. That's more than one a day. If you took down my YouTube channel, and this is something that I said to you on JD Miles' channel, it's, right, it would take me, 2 whole weeks to get back all the followers that I lost from losing my YouTube channel? Dude, you're wasting your time, right? I know what YouTube is about, which is why I don't promote anything off of YouTube. I only use that YouTube channel for ease of post up at the other sites. And of course, the other sites ain't going to allow you to get away with the bullshit that you can pull on YouTube. Now, not even 2 days later, while I'm in camp, somebody tries to hack. First, they hacked my email, which I was able to stop when I changed the fake password. But in the process of that, I lost my Instagram and my Steam, which I don't use, but I'm in the process of getting it back. I have temporarily lost my use of my Instagram. The only thing is, though, is that the guy who tried to steal my Instagram doesn't have access to it either because I reported it as a stolen account. He also tried to steal my LinkedIn, my Facebook, and let's see, what was it? Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, Steam, and my email account. Now, I was able to secure all of them. I've changed the passwords, but, I don't know what it is you're trying, what it is you were hoping to accomplish by doing that. Again, right? I'm smart enough to have different. I mean, I admit I completely forgot about the Instagram, but I mean, to be honest with you, there are two people that I talk to on Instagram on a regular basis. One of them is actually a fairly prominent figure in the adult industry, and another one is a guy who I've had on my podcast before. The only thing I use Instagram for is for the photos. Realistically, that's all I use it for. Uh, I have a separate account for business as opposed to personal. So yeah. Um, like I don't know who you are. I suspect at some point you are going to eventually reveal yourself. But dude, like, let me just bring you up to speed on something here. Like attempting to getting someone kicked off YouTube or getting someone kicked off Facebook doesn't have the impact that it would have had in the past. You know, and I think I've explained this to you before. You went ahead and did it anyway. Oh yes, yes, and also I don't know who it was that went in and went, and I think they must have found my links on YouTube because they went to all of my alt accounts, Odyssey, MGTOW TV, BitChute, whatever, and they took the time to downvote about three to six videos on every single channel, and then of course they logged off and never returned. Uh, again,
well, you have been advertising on all of that, so this is a downside to such activity. Just saying.
yep, yep. I know it is. The thing is, dude, you're not going to shut me up anymore. Booting me off of YouTube is not going to have the effect that you think it has anymore. Taking down my Facebook is not going to have the impact you thought it was anymore. I've gotten past that. You know, once I get Gray J, it will be next to impossible to shut me down, right? And of course, all of the alt channels that I've talked about, Rumble, Odyssey, BitChute, Brighteon, and MGTOW TV, are smart to the tactics of mass reporting and will not fall for your bullshit. So, yeah, by all means, take down my YouTube channel. For all the good it'll do you, again, it would probably take me, somewhere between 10 and 14 days to get back all of the subs that I lost. Like it's not going to have the impact that you thought it was going to have. I would also strongly suggest that you go get a life somewhere. But, if you're so obsessed with me that you're willing to go on and start phony accounts at alt video sites just to downvote my content or go out and get someone to hack me, I suspect that you don't really have much of a life to begin with. Lesson learned on my part. You didn't succeed. I will get my Instagram back, and I am definitely going to get my Steam back, even though I don't use it. So yeah, good luck with nothing. And if Russo wants to throw in a message here, fine. But otherwise, we're going to get on with the actual show itself.
All right. What I'm about to say, man, this is completely off the cuff, but it's not directed at you. Well, it is directed at your hater. I don't know what the fuck. Don't really care. And it's nothing personal about you, but it's like, what the serious hot piping fuck? Like, Naroki is, for now, not that big of a deal. You've got other people that you could certainly go after who are much more prevalent on YouTube. And the fact that on alt media, if this is the person you suspect it to be, excuse me, no fucks given. If it's the person who you think it is, on alt media alone, you're beating this person's ass hands down. So I would think this is a case of penis. It's not penis envy. Well, that's even assuming that the person even has a penis. Still anymore. I don't fucking know. Don't care. And whoever you are, pathetic, sad individual who, typical of the left, is screaming and promoting diversity, inclusion, and all that other bullshit. Woke words, when unfortunately, clearly, your actions are indicative of anything that's otherwise. And medical misinformation or disinformation on Fauci that has nothing to do with what Fauci's doing. Get a fucking life. Holy shitballs, Batman. Anyway, that's all I got to say. Let's get on with the show.
Okay, I'm in the process of adding Angel and V. Hopefully they decide to jump on board. There we go. Recall. And, yes, Roger, introduce yourself.
Hello. Sorry I'm late. I had to finish up. You ended up messaging me in the middle of a really important stream. I was doing a gameplay on Doom, and like right in the middle of it, so apologize about that. My name is Roger Hansen. You can find me on minds.com. You can also find me on Skype and Discord. I also have my gamer name, which is Gaming with Infamous, or Infamous OG 1973. That's on YouTube, Skype, or YouTube, Rumble, all the regular things. I'm pretty much on all of them. Rumble, YouTube, Odyssey, stuff like that. That's where you can find me. So, both names. That good enough?
Yeah, that's good enough. Yeah,
All right.
you came in just as we were finished. I had to send a special message to my hater here. I've seemed to have acquired a couple of them in the last couple of weeks. People with no life. You came in just at the end of that. So yeah, all right. I'm calling Angel and V again.
And
Maybe they join.
I was going to say, Roger, and with Naroki, it's a natural talent that he seems to attract people.
That's what I was going to say. I mean,
oh my God. Well, I've known this guy for a long time. Actually, besides our mutual friend, you're the only other person I've known half my life. Fuck. Anyway, Naroki developed a bit of a reputation. The first place that was our former mutual employer. I'll leave it at that.
So he's been around, huh?
No. Yes. No, and yes.
The employer in question had somebody working for her who was stealing tips out of the rooms, and I caught her on it the first time, and me and one other woman went to the manager and the actual head of housekeeping in this hotel and told her, and she stopped for about 2 months. And then
dude, I was talking about Lake Disease.
Oh, Lake Disease.
I never worked at the Boo.
Ever. Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's true. Okay, yeah. We also worked at the Chateau Lake Louise at different times. We won't get into a certain individual, not PW, but RT, who, when he got laid, it was almost like the end of the universe was going to end.
Oh, well, okay. All right. I'm just going to step in here very quickly with this one. You never met them, but there was a couple that had worked at the currency exchange in Lake Disease, Lake Lousy, whatever you want to call it. And Roger, if you want to pick up some kangaroo with a shotgun, we can always recommend the Bow Valley in Alberta. Ina, she was the wife of the two, and she was the one who actually ended up filing for divorce. But that's anyway, that's something else. So she basically said, "So RT, did you have a case of a premature ejaculation?" And apparently, he just stopped what he was saying. Like he was trading barbs with the husband, and then she said that he went beet red and shut his mouth. So, yeah. Poor bastard. But he fucked around and found out with the wrong person, with the wrong woman out there at that time. Anyway,
Yeah.
do we have additional company, or is it still just three of us?
Freaking V came in, but he left real quick, so he's probably coming in and out. There he is.
Oh, there he is. V, introduce yourself, and then we're gonna get on with the first topic here.
Oh, you guys have already started?
Oh yeah, we started a while ago. Actually, we're 25 minutes in.
Oh, okay. Well, you kept calling me there. I was on the Jackal show. I was on Angel's show.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, well, I said I was going to call you at 10, and I waited till 10:09 before I started calling you.
You know how long-winded I am on my topics. Anyways, yes, I'm V, Red Pill Hardcore Radio Show. All other stuff. All right, let's go.
All right, so let's get in with the first topic here. Now, this one, folks, is a lesson. Oh, look at that. The Angel has jumped on board. Angel can wait until after we start topic number 2 to introduce himself. Okay. So what we didn't actually cover this when it happened, because we were doing this podcast 4 years ago. Although I heard about it, I didn't think it was really important enough to cover. Dr. Disrespect just got booted off Twitch. No specific reason given. He was paid out, and he moved over to YouTube, and he moved over to some alt accounts, and that was it. Now, there were a couple of soy boys, including, by the way, one of the most infamous soy boys out there, Nathan Grayson. Yes, that Nathan Grayson from Gamergate fame. Also, the Nathan Grayson who did that, what was it, 3,000-page article on Nicolol, which got him into Simpland.
3,000 word?
Oh, yeah, it was a long article on Nicolol. I didn't read it, but Jeremy Hembling, a.k.a. The Quartering, it was so snivelly and suck-up-ish. Because keep in mind, guys, Nicolol is I'd go there. If she said she wanted to do me, I would go there. She's a hot Latina. Oh man, and she's got a luscious rack.
Oh, Miss Waterboy.
The OK Boomer.
What's her name again?
Yeah.
Nico Law. The
I'm gonna
OK
look her up right now.
The OK Boomer girl, yeah. Just go Nico
Law.
NeekoLul. OK Boomer girl.
Oh, okay, Boomer girl.
And then you can post up a photo for us to see. But yeah, she is a hot piece of work. Anyway, but getting back to the actual
Mamma
story.
mia. Oh,
Yeah. Post it up so everyone else can see. I know who we're talking about here, but these other three people have barely touched women at all. Well, not maybe except the ones that V touches. He only gets to touch them.
I think V would like this one. Yeah.
And the only ones that V touches are the ones that have to come up to the surface to breathe air.
Captain
Wait a minute, I just got back from the bathroom. Are you talking about my Lizzo again?
No.
Hey, you can have her as many times
Yeah,
as you want. You won't ask.
Yeah, this is about 400 pounds lighter than Lizzo.
I don't care. She plays the flute.
Oh yeah, no.
She plays the meat
Probably act better.
very well.
This one is a genuine 9 or 10. At least
Oh no,
in my
this is
estimation.
more like a 12, dude. This chick is fire.
Oh, this chick is there. She's about as 10 or 9 is what I would rate her. But yeah,
No standards, folks. No standards.
The things that'll eat out of her ass. Anyway, good.
Anyway, so getting back to good old Dr. Disrespect, and the show went on. Now, I don't know how this happened, but there was a journalist that somehow got in with Twitch and got the information on what actually happened with Dr. Disrespect. Ooh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I'm gonna go mute for a couple of minutes, guys. Don't mind me.
Don't forget to pull out that Orange Man bad hand bomb there.
Oh, the lube job. I'm gonna give myself right now. Look at those. Oh yeah. Oh baby. Oh, look what she's wearing. Stranger Things. Thingers, strangers. Oh.
Take as much time as you need.
She's got a nice face and act, but she's missing some junk in her trunk.
No, I don't think she's missing anything.
No, she ain't missing anything, man. She's
she's cross-eyed.
Oh yeah, her thighs are way too thin for me. I'll pass.
Well, she's not really. She's okay. You know what I'm saying?
She's okay.
But like,
She's okay.
If you're into small girls, you know what I mean? Like, she's real tiny, dude. Like, I'd break her.
Yeah.
I'd break her. You know
See, I'm a man. I don't need a girl.
And a Latino girl needs to have hips. Somebody mentioned that. Like, freaking Latino girls need to have hips.
Look,
she does have hips, man.
Yes, look, with this girl, she could have at least 4 or 5 kids. You do really need more.
Yeah.
Look at those hips.
Oh yeah, she's got hips. But anyway, getting back to Dr. Disrespect. So and apparently some people dug it up and they started dragging it out into the press. And what ended up happening is that he tried being quiet about it, and then he finally had to confess that he had been back and forth messaging with a girl who, although technically she's not illegal, 16 years old at the time, which is where Dr. Disrespect is living. I think that is, oh my God, I love that tight white shirt.
Oh my God. I look at that.
I love that one.
He's even streaming it. He's like, yeah. He's even got a wonder bra.
Yeah, somebody that's going full ludicrous speed over there.
Oh, right. So yeah, and it was, the thing about it was, who the hell's doing that? Oh, I love that photo. I love that one.
Look at that dress, Naroki. It just says, "Get behind me and just push," like a Dodge in the 1980s. Just push.
Anyway, give her
a few more years. I mean, like, give her a few more years. She's still got to develop. You know what I mean? Like, that's kind of.
That's what I'm saying.
She's 26 and she's
26.
Yeah, she's pretty developed. And
okay,
yeah, let her hit 30. She can gain about 20 more pounds. She'll be all right.
No.
Yeah.
She will never be the type of woman that has to come up to the air every 15. They come up to the surface to breathe air every 15 minutes.
You guys apparently have never seen Nina Mercedes, have you?
Nina Mercedes? You mean the porn actress?
Yeah, the porn actress. Now, that's a freaking Latino right there, dude. She's hot as shit.
Oh,
Vida
yeah.
Carrera. She had a nice butt.
Yeah, well, we could bring up pictures of Nina Mercedes. Anyway, so Dr. Disrespect, he basically came clean and said, yeah, I was messaging her. And yeah, I knew that she was not, well, she was legal, but she's not, like, a full, not considered a legal
Not-
adult legal.
She's not illegal.
She's not illegal. It fell in that gray zone, and which was why Twitch paid out the contract, because it technically no laws were broken. There's just a couple of things about it, and this is why we get into optics, right? Like, you always ask the age of any. First of all, man, I don't use the internet to meet women. Period. Oh God, I love that red bikini.
And
Yeah.
you're going to get absolutely nothing done tonight for tonight's podcast, folks. Just warning you right now.
Yeah, look at those. Yes, you see there, Roger. She's got hips there.
I'm
Anyway,
going the rest of the night, gentlemen.
Yeah.
Just right there.
That's what I'm saying. You just give her a little while. Give
Call
her a
those
little
hips.
while.
yeah. Anyway,
Yeah,
continue
well.
on. So anyway, even though Dr. Disrespect didn't actually break any laws, there was an optics. Good God. Anyway,
That's going to stop traffic right there.
that'll stop traffic. Absolutely. He was revealed that
Stop
it was an optic situation, and it was sort of like, and everybody was dogpiling him. So Dr. Disrespect has got more money than he'll ever need. So Dr. Disrespect just left. There's just a couple of issues with that. The place that he was talking to this 16-year-old at is a site where you're supposed to be over 18 before you can do it. That's a good photo. I like her in that one. She's pink. That pink dress. That one. Actually, is that pink tights? Is that a dress or tights?
Keeping a straight face is beyond.
And the other issue is that, for all intents and purposes, Dr. Disrespect didn't actually break any laws. You can. I'm getting an echo somewhere, by the way. The issue here is, and this is something that just comes, a couple of issues from the manosphere that come up here. One, a lot of the people that are jumping on Dr. Disrespect's. Oh yeah, that one's nice. That one's even better.
How much do you need alone? Just wondering, because for me, it's just to carry the show.
All right, so the issue with Dr. Disrespect is that so the world lied about her age, one, and two, going back to the issue about the manosphere. Okay, I will talk, and I will just ignore these photos. I will go into monk mode here.
Bullshit.
Yeah, you sound like you're about ready to bust a nut.
I know I am.
So the whole situation here is that the people that shame guys for dating younger women are either usually guys that can't get women that look like, the luscious, lovely, bodacious Nicolal, or they're middle-aged women that can't compete against women that age. Now, the issue here, at least with me, and this has been something that's been brought up in the manosphere quite frequently, is the fact that, it's like when a guy is younger, he has a problem landing a really attractive woman like this because he lacks money, he lacks resources, and whatever. And this is another one of those no-win situations. And the moment he gains enough status, he gains enough money, he gains enough wealth, all of a sudden now, if he wants to go after these women, he's a creep. And it's sort of like, well, no, you know what? I am through subjecting myself to that value. To be critical of Dr. Disrespect, though, she is married, so he shouldn't have been talking to somebody who was 16. Absolutely should not have been talking to somebody who's 16, but it doesn't matter. He's left the internet for a while, and that's all there is to it. And who wants to go? I think it's Roger. You can go next.
Well, from what I've seen so far, I mean, I've been playing around with everything, but from what I see,
I'm sure you
they're
have.
both they're both gamers. You know what I mean? And it seems like freaking they've. I mean, most likely they've crossed paths, a few times because I've been gaming for quite a long time as well, and I mean, I've met a lot of people just in the gaming community. So I doubt they freaking haven't freaking at least crossed paths somewhere. This stuff right here, it seems like there has to be more to it. You know what I mean? It's just he didn't just send her a random message or anything. I'm pretty sure that he's probably known her for quite some time. They really don't get much into it other than the fact that freaking she was a minor when he made his comments, I guess. And I don't know. I mean, as far as Latinos go, though, freaking, I mean, she could possibly have some potential for good looks and stuff. But like I said, if I had all my money, dude, Nina Mercedes, she'd be right. She'd be sitting by my swimming pool, dude, right next to me. I wouldn't waste my time with a little girl like that. That's all I got.
That's okay. I'll take her off your hands. It's okay. No worries.
I guess Naroki needs a little bit of time for himself at this point. So
He's masturbating.
Angel, you can go
He,
next.
he's gonna be muted for a minute. Oh, I'm next.
Yep, go ahead, Joe.
What was the question again? I'm sorry. I was lost in translation. Oh yeah, hot chick.
Disrespect.
Let's see. Truth about Doctor Disrespect revealed about mass at Twitch. Well, I really haven't done any research on this whole math, Doctor Disrespect. So I would yield my time to whoever wants to go next on this one.
That would be V.
V.
I guess that would be me.
Yes.
Well, I'm gonna have to disagree. Start off, I'm gonna have to disagree with Naroki on two things. Yeah, she could use about 20 and 30 more pounds. A more full woman. If anybody's looking like a teenager, then I don't know. I like a fully developed woman. She doesn't have to be fat.
No, for you, fully developed is somebody who has to come up from air from the bottom of the ocean every 20 minutes.
Anyways, she doesn't have to be fat. You don't have to be a fat woman to be a full-figured woman. You got,
Dude,
you got like, for example,
no,
Jessica Simpson.
No.
Woo!
Okay, I'm sorry.
Talk about a fully developed woman. Jessica Simpson.
Now
I'm not talking about in her fat days either.
After the 300 pounds that she's gained.
If you guys will let me talk, I can explain it. All right, yeah. No, so before she had the weight gain, she was still a full-figured woman.
What's wrong with that?
Wide hips, big, fat, juicy booty, large, ample breasts. That's a woman. So this girl's a little too small for me. So the second thing I disagree on, with the underage or the dating younger, it's not always how it happens. I've had several people trying to hook me up with their 16-year-old daughters or granddaughters, just because of, I don't know, because of who I am. They want to marry into what I'm doing. It's who I am, my future. So it's not always the guys going in that direction, but sometimes it's the women going in that direction, their families going in that direction to you. So, I mean, I know that's not going to happen for Joe Schmo, but when you've established yourself and made a name for yourself, these things happen. These younger girls come to you. I've had to back them off with a freaking stick. I know I've
And
had
a harpoon.
well, I've had 16-year-old
That's
girls
only for you,
in
man.
Afghanistan talking to me. It was
Yeah, but
funny
they were
too
asking
because,
for the time, and if you were
well,
in the NBA,
well, I
you
mean,
know, they don't know better.
it was funny because I had the most gorgeous girls, Afghani girls, just like all of my Kool-Aid. I know I had to ask their age. Wait, how old are you? You know, 16. I was like, oh, okay, cool. Hey, so anyways, my show, listen to it, watch it, and spread it to your friends. I'll see you later. What? You're not going to tell me you love me? It's like, no. I've never said it before. I'm not going to say it now. So these situations do happen. It's crazy. But as far as this guy goes, Dr. Disrespect, he's already had issues in his marriage, cheating. I remember when he just dropped the act. He dropped the Dr. Disrespect act. He showed up on camera as himself and basically just apologized to the world about being a douchebag. So the problem with fame or just any kind of notoriety is that you're going to be tempted by stuff, people. You're going to be tempted by people in the industry. You're going to be tempted just from fanatical, women. I mean, with the relationship that I'm in now, the little Austrian princess, she had to have me. She had to pluck me from where I was as her new favorite toy. So these things happen. You're gonna get women. At me, I personally, I like older women. My little exotic European blondie, she's I talk a lot of trash about these girls, but she's tiny. She's a tiny little girl. She's a tiny little woman. She's older than me.
You talk about my taste in a small woman.
I know I'm being a hypocrite. I trust me, I do know. I have more than one flavor. Okay, it's like Baskin Robbins. All right, I'd like to try all 36 at some point. No.
As long as you're not trying to taste the rainbow.
Oh man. So the temptation is hard. I mean, for me, it wasn't so hard because I'm goal orientated. I'm mission. I wake up every day. It's like, what can I learn about the establishment today? How can I screw up the corrupt establishment today? Sex is the last thing on my mind. A lot of times. I'm not gonna say all the time. A lot of the times. So, but for me, it also, when you get that kind of experience and virtually being able to have any woman you want just because of who you are, for me, there's no rush on it. I'll stay with my current woman. If she doesn't want to get her act straight, then there's other women and high profile women. I mean, these weren't just regular people that were approaching me. These are people in the industry that are kind of high profile themselves. So, I mean, when I say that high profile, I mean with money. So, this broke Negro right here has had to turn down many rich white girls. So I understand there are those who have the temptations because they're being bombarded with it. You don't think Dr. Disrespect gets a sexy DM from a chick at least once a week, if not once a day, with him flouting his Ferraris and Lamborghinis. Yeah, anybody in that position is going to have some skirts after him. But if you're a married guy and all that stuff, I mean, you got to think carefully what you can and can't get away with. If he wants to cheat, that's his prerogative. Men are not naturally monogamous anyhow. I'm not going to damn him for it. So, when you have steak every day, sometimes you just want a hamburger. Women don't understand it doesn't mean anything to us. The extra marital sex, it doesn't mean anything to us. It's just a freaking natural biological thing you have to do, just like taking a dump. Okay, they don't understand that. So I'm not gonna rag on him. However, he has some things he should have been concerned about, and that is his public image if he's going to be a public figure. And I think he has forsaken the idea of being monogamous. So if that's his bed, then he can lie in it. This whole thing about being off the internet for a while and disappearing, that's a YouTuber's equivalent to going to rehab. When a star does something stupid to get out of jail and to show society that he or she is getting help. Instead of going to jail like some should, they get opted to go to rehab. And that's essentially what he's doing, because he's already done it before. This is round 2, right? He's already cheated on his wife, and
I don't know. Hey, well, he has cheated on his wife, but I don't really follow Dr. Disrespect, so I really couldn't say one way or the other.
I don't follow him either, but I like watching. See, that's one of my hobbies on my free time. I like watching videos about lolcows, and I guess at this point, he's becoming one. But yeah, I watched a documentary on him. His history with Twitch and YouTube and all the other stuff. So yeah, I know his history. Do I follow? Every once in a while, every once in a blue moon, I will watch one of his live streams because he is kind of funny. I love to see him get his butt whooped because he's so braggadocious when he's winning. I love seeing him get his butt whooped in the games he's playing. And he does a great, I don't know, it's probably not PC. I don't know if he offends anybody, but his fake Chinese is hilarious. He'll be playing against some Asian people. If he's getting his butt whooped, he'll start and arguing with the guys. Like the Asian guy's like, I don't know what you're saying.
I saw a clip of that. Is that the dude that's arguing with the Chinese guy? He's like, yo, Chinese is garbage. He goes, yo, you know why it's garbage? Because Chinese is garbage or something like that, right? Is that guy?
Dr. Disrespect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's the same.
Yeah. He even has a video on how to speak fake Chinese. Where you
the Asian guy's like, that's fake Chinese.
Yeah, he teaches you how to accentuate certain vowels and syllables, things like that. It was freaking hilarious. It was one of the funniest things I've ever seen. So, I mean, as a YouTuber, I like the guy. His persona is pretty cool. It's just his personal life is the only thing that just drags him down. Oh yeah, that's beautiful. SoFlo Radio. Yeah. But anyways, yeah, that's all I got.
Rearson, you're up.
I didn't know this guy from a fucking hole, hole in the ground to piss in. I'd heard of him, but never looked into the whole matter. So I kind of think that this is actually somewhat tied into your um, direction to your hater or haters. Is that the matter was settled and now it's come back up again? There's some level of fuckery going on. And who is ultimately responsible, I don't know. And I'll be honest, it's like the whole Gaza Israel thing. I don't give a shit. I really don't care. He had moments of indiscretion, and I think I'm the only person that's married still on this panel. I'm not going to say anything about his indiscretions, but then again, my spouse has also basically said, if I have a hell of a lot more cash, she doesn't care if I can be fucking around. She won't. But yeah, that won't matter soon enough anyway, but that's another story. But in terms of all of this with him, someone's got an axe to grind, and obviously didn't or wasn't. Let me rephrase that. Wasn't satisfied with the first outcome, but for some reason or another, this has come out now. I don't get it. Don't know. Don't care. And I really don't care. So I'm just going to leave it at that. So, Naranki, let's move on to topic number 2.
Okay, yeah, topic number 2. Oh, hey, this one is interesting. Julian Assange made this actually is a bit of a surprise for me. Julian Assange actually made a deal with I didn't even think the Biden administration could work out a deal, but apparently they did, and Julian Assange has been released. I don't know that much more about it. What I can say though is that and this is just me speculating, there may be some ties with the Biden, because Biden was the vice president under Obama, and a lot of the stuff that was released was tied into Clinton and Obama. And while Biden wasn't the chief guy involved, he was definitely up there. So there may have been some rather incriminating stuff there that may have actually been damaging to the election. Not that the Democrats didn't successfully shoot themselves in the foot this week multiple times anyway. The whole situation is it's peculiar, but I suspect that there's a political angle to it, which is why the Biden administration settled, because they can't really afford to lose any more ground than they've already lost. Apparently, if you go by what's happened this week, all of these states, with the possible exception of maybe Virginia, are now solidly Trump. States that you didn't think would be battleground states: Maine, New Hampshire, Minnesota. The hell's the other one? New Jersey, potentially Oregon as well. Those are now apparently the battleground states. Those are the battleground states. But apparently, from what I've seen, over at 270 to win, Trump is already over 270 based on the total number of. If you go with the states where he's either leading or solid, he's well over 300 at this point. We will get into some of the other speculations to what Biden is going to do, but I mean, yeah, that's just my take on it. I'm going to turn it over to Roger now.
No, I think you're right with the Julian Assange thing, that is most likely political and everything. I'm I'll tell you what, I'm not going to bitch about it because I freaking support Julian Assange. I also support Snowden. I think what Snowden did was an honorable thing, because of the information that he let out. These secrets weren't freaking something that was supposed to be secret to protect the citizens. It was actually secret so that freaking our government could spy on its citizens and everybody worldwide. So, it had to come out, I mean, he did the right thing. And Assange basically got stuck in the middle. I mean, he's handed information that frickin' he had to make an ethical choice on, and I think he made the right choice when it comes to being ethical, and he paid for it. Yeah, and if it was politics that got him out of prison, then good. If he made a deal, I think that's better than frickin' staying in prison every day and coming out to see the sunlight for 1 hour. I know they do have prisons like that. I live like 15 miles north of Marion Federal Penitentiary, and they call that Little Alcatraz because they do the same thing. They'll put you in a cell all day long, and you can come out for 1 hour to exercise, and that's it. And if he was in that kind of condition, I'd take the deal too. So that's how I feel about it. Now, I thought it was funny after the fact that he was released just before the presidential election, and there's a lot of spill out now over that because people have seen Biden in the condition that he's in. So that kind of raises a lot of questions with him too. At least now I know who's at. A lot of things make sense to me now. If he's actually having mental problems, or I personally think he was drunk, but if he was having mental problems, then his vice president would be frickin' one calling all the shots. And I know if you think Biden's bad, she's frickin' 5 times worse. That bitch wanted to frickin' keep people on death row even though they were proven innocent with DNA, and frickin' that was before she was made vice president when she was running for president. So I know she's bad news. Now, the one thing that I also wanted to add about this election thing was even when Donald Trump lost to Biden in the last elections, it was very, very slim. These elections here in the United States is basically ran off of the independent voters. They're the ones who's actually getting a say now because it's so close. Like every election has been like 47%, 53%, and I noticed that in the last election, even though, because I'm in the state of Illinois, even though he lost the state of Illinois, I was checking out the votes in Chicago and all of the Democratic areas, and even the votes there was pretty high for freaking a Republican in this state, and for him to go up that high and be so close, that's a miracle for the state of Illinois. This is one of those Democratic states that are up there with freaking Wisconsin and California and New York. It's been a Democratic state for quite a long time, and that's the one thing I noticed about the last election. So right now, the Dems are really running their asses off trying to freaking get those independent voters to freaking come over to their side and vote with them, because they know it's going to be close, and this would be something to try to steer it that direction because a lot of independent voters felt that everything involving Snowden and Julian Assange was wrong, and they felt that these two people should be exonerated and freed, you know. So, that being said, that I'm done. Next. He's masturbating again.
Angel?
No, I'm not. I'm not masturbating. Angel, you're up. Angel, you're up.
Yeah, I was waiting to see who was going to be on the list here, but of course he has to clean up, gentlemen. So you got to give him a second. He might have sticky fingers. Got to be gentle, and I'm sure the lube is not helping him grip the mouse there very easily. So let's be nice. Now, as far as the topic of conversation here, um, all Trump had to do during the debate was just end there. Joe Biden was a train wreck inside of a dumpster fire, inside of a hot volcano in the middle of Mars, and being hit by several asteroids all at once.
Yeah,
That's what that debate was.
Angel. Yeah, the debate is actually topic number 4. We're topic number 2, which is Julian Assange being released.
No, I'm going there.
Okay.
Calm down. I know where I'm going. Relax. You're gonna see how it all ties in. Now, the reason I say this in jest of being interrupted here by interruptor Mr. Naroki is because if you watch the debate, it's very clear there's a narrative and optic going on in this country. And Julian Assange being released during very close to what we had of a debate, if you want to call it that, is an optic to sell a story which is going to captivate the audience that they can turn to turn away from what happened recently. Now, with that said, Julian Assange should never have been in prison, but at the same time, the legal mind of mine understands why a lot of this stuff happened to him legally. But again, he was bearing truths, right? And you have to understand there's a lot of politics in this. If you guys know who was the person in office when Julian Assange was sentenced,
That would be, I think it was Obama, wasn't it? Oh, no, it
that's
was
when it
Trump.
started. But Trump signed into they passed a bill to actually have him, press charges, and he had to do it legally because there's laws behind it, and he couldn't break those laws. Now, my take on why this is happening now with Julian Assange is because the left is going to somehow say, you see, we are trying to bring you the truth while Trump and his administration is trying to cover up the truth. And I think you might see something like that along the lines in the next few days. Now, Assange's case is very interesting because he pled guilty, got time served, and got released because, let's face it, he shouldn't have had to serve any time. But he got released because of that. Time served, he's going to be able to live out the rest of his life. Now, again, this is a person who did violate laws. He did leak out information, but for crying out loud, the guy ran a place called WikiLeaks. What do you think is happening at WikiLeaks? Okay? And nobody should have gone mad if the truth is being exposed. And this is a condemnation of both the left and the right party for having put this man through what they put him through from the beginning. Okay? Now, the optic that they're going to try to sell here is that, look, we're the good guys and they're the bad guys. And I guarantee you this is going to play into a lot of people's minds who are on the fringe of who to vote for. Because a lot of people, and myself included, didn't want Julian Assange to have to go through any of this. And unfortunately, he has. And now we're going to see in the next few months how much they use this in the media to kind of feed this narrative that we're the good guys, they're the bad guys. And with that said, that I think is the optic of why it's happening now rather than next year or a year ago or whatever. This is part of the 2024 agenda. And that's my take on it. Whoever wants to go next, and whoever's next, go for it.
That would
Yeah. Well, I think last time we had Julian Assange as a topic on the show, uh, I, I think I said chances are they'd have to let him go. Because, okay, he didn't actually commit a crime. Julian Assange is a citizen of who? The United States or
Australia, I believe.
UK or something?
No, it's a violation in. Yeah, he's
he's a citizen of
he was in
Australia.
yeah, he was in violation of Australian law. But it's not
Australia?
something that he should have faced. Yeah,
Australia,
but it's
yeah.
not something that. Yeah, but it's not something that he should have faced this much. Time or been hunted down like this. I mean, there's certain laws where he would have faced a little bit of time and that would have been the end of it. But his whole thing has been escalated to a point of insanity. And that's really what it's been going on because he leaked some very, very detailed information, which
Okay,
was
well,
very damning to the parties.
I don't know about Australian law, but I know in the United States, he didn't break any laws. Why the United States wanted him extradited so much? I mean, I know why, but
Because there was a
he didn't
targeted
break
one,
any
so he targeted
American
yeah.
laws. He didn't break any American laws, so which makes this even more ridiculous. Because even if he was an American citizen, he's not under any contracts. He doesn't work for the government. So whatever he gets to report is what he gets to report. That would have been First Amendment. There are situations in which, if you do talk about, if you have some top secret information and you leak it, you could go under charges of treason.
Correct.
However, in order for that to happen, you have to, well, okay. In order for that to happen, the government have to admit that you're right or that it's real information. So, because one of the things I'm doing with my whistleblowing stuff about the the NSA stuff, I've been taken to court. I will be suing the NSA, DARPA, DOD, etc. I'm taking the whole system to trial. Now, if I lose the trial, or they just decide to drop it, because they have the power to do that, say, no, this won't go to trial. That frees me up. I can talk about it as much as I want. Matter of fact, I had plans of going to other countries and talking to their intelligence agencies. So, with that process, I cannot be tried for treason or any crime for that matter. So, I've got them between a rock and a hard place. What they choose, the rock or the hard place, I don't care. But we need to be in the position of our own power to do these kind of things. With the way the Constitution is and the way The laws are, technically speaking, American citizen has more power than a politician. Doesn't work out that way, but technically, if you know how to work the system, you can get that power. So this is something I know Julian Assange has been the independent reporter investigator. He's been on one for a long time, longer than me. So I don't know why he didn't figure this kind of stuff out. He should have taken that video of those soldiers murdering innocent civilians and sued the United States government. That should be his first. Sued them for war crimes. That should be his first move. Then releasing it to the public. So I wish he had taken those steps, but as I've said before, either they were going to make an example out of him, or they'd have to let him go because he didn't do anything wrong. So I don't know what kind of deal was made, but I'm pretty sure Julian is happy to be outside of his room that he didn't leave for years at that embassy. So, anyways, go ahead, Rusin.
What Angel had mentioned that,
What?
well, with what you had said about Trump being the one to sign the deal with Assange, and how much of that is
Yeah.
actual public notice, sorry, for it's available for public consumption.
I can't. We can barely hear you, dude.
All right, is that better?
Ooh, yeah.
All right, it seemed to be fine for Naroki, so I'm not sure what's going on here. Anyway, I guess being the conspiracy theorist of us here, or at least being more of an anon, the on the alt media, it's always been basically is that Assange is necessary, and he's fine. He won't be killed or, well, to do the best that they can that he isn't taken out. And he still has a big role to play in all of this. And with what you had said, that Trump was the one that signed the order to
That's correct. Yeah.
round him up.
Mm-hmm.
I'm kind of thinking that this has all been.
Well, the roundup was already signed before him. What he did was he just continued what they're already working on. He accepted and agreed on it.
All right. Well, whatever the case. Okay, fair enough. Whatever the case may be.
Remember, it was brought to him by the then-led House, which is Nancy Pelosi and them, and the Rhino Republicans. So all he had to do is sign a bill that they already had passed through, both sides of the Congress and the House.
In the Senate, yeah.
Right.
Sorry, my apologies. I'm under the impression that the Congress and the House is the same thing, and the Senate is something different. Anyway.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, regardless, be that as it may, not that I forgot. Well, no, I pretty much had forgotten about Assange, and then he came out now. Yeah, I mean, this can't. Don't be surprised that there's going to be a lot of stuff coming out leading up to the theoretical date of the U.S. election. I don't think there's going to be one. I really don't. But wait and see. And folks, it somehow always seems to be illegal for someone to find out legally what's going on with the powers that be. And not that we wouldn't know here, Hiroki and I living here in Canada. Oh shit, yeah, that's right. Are we going to be talking about Tommy Robinson being arrested in Calgary? Hiroki?
He's
We
still
ran a
got
we
it.
we ran
Texas.
out of
Yeah.
we ran out of space. We'll
Okay.
talk about that next week.
Okay, fair enough. Okay, well, I'll leave you to your reading. Anyway, yeah, my opinion about Assange is that this is far from over. What's going to happen, I don't know. And I'm not going to pretend to know. So, shall I give you another couple of minutes to finish shoveling whatever's in your mouth to be masticated and digested?
No, I'm good, thanks.
All right. Moving on.
You
Folks.
just decided to bring me in totally unexpectedly.
What animal choice are you dining on tonight, there, Naroki?
Well, I'm eating some pepperoni sticks at this point.
So it's
Ooh.
some form of law enforcement.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
At least he muted this.
There you go.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's very true. Yes.
Yep. So, all right. So let's move on with the next. The next topics here. The next two topics are kind of tied together, but you know what? Let's just get into the first one. Okay, CNN. In their infinite wisdom, and when I will admit I was a little bit surprised when Trump consented to actually go on CNN and engage Biden there, although actually not apparently, we just had not really covered it very much in the lead up to it. Biden had been doing actually it's not really Biden that's running the show over there. It's been the people who are behind Biden that have been running the show over there. Had been doing everything in their power to avoid having Biden engage in a debate. But then again, you keep in mind, I mean, when he was at G7 here recently, I mean, he couldn't even stay focused enough to stay with the other leaders. I will also point out that Trudeau started screaming pro-Ukraine slogans like a effing maniac at that same particular thing, which
Slava Ukraine.
and I'm like, oh my God, just shut up, Justin. It's bad enough that Biden is there. You have to literally upscale Biden's stupidity with your own. But I digress. I don't know what CNN was hoping to accomplish here, but I mean, it was very, very clear that the two hosts had clear and obvious anti-Trump biases. It was on CNN. There were talks about a mute button for Trump, but not for Biden, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But one of the things that, and the other thing, and this kind of detracts away from the fact that maybe this was some sort of a plan to get Biden to step down, which we will get into on the next topic, is the fact that, I mean, Trump willingly stepped in there, and what they were trying to do, and because what happens is when there's a debate, what happens is that now, because you have YouTube, and you have Rumble, and you have BitChute, and you have Odyssey, you've got all these other places that can stream the content, and it makes it very difficult for CNN to control the narrative. And that didn't stop them, though, from threatening YouTube content creators with copyright strikes and potentially lawsuits if they attempted to have a running commentary of what Biden and Trump were debating on their shows. And YouTube, by the way, complied, but we will get into that for topic number 4. Here is the really strange thing about it, though. They didn't send any of these threats at any of the independent content producers that have a track record for getting lawyers and fighting back. They only did it with people who have generally complied in the past. Curious, isn't it? So, I don't know what they were expecting here, but I mean, when we get into topic number 4, I'm just going to say it's like they did everything, which kind of defeats that narrative that they threw Biden out there this early because they knew he was going to embarrass himself and that they were going to try to force him to step down because he was going to embarrass himself on that stage, and he did. But again, that's for topic number 4. They slanted everything towards Biden as much as they could, and it still didn't work. Threatening, but again, right? Threatening, and by the way, YouTube did comply. If you tried to live stream this debate on YouTube, and several people did, YouTube did shut down the feed. Just saying. However, they couldn't do anything at all about Rumble, about BitChute, about Odyssey, about MGTOW TV, about Brighteon, about any of these other platforms that all just gleefully went ahead and either reposted the debate or held live streams like they did on Rumble, and there wasn't a goddamn thing CNN could do about it, because if they try to sue Rumble over it, Rumble will fight back. So, an example of them absolutely losing the narrative. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Roger.
Yeah, I saw that. I noticed too after I think you posted it once, and then Dave Kelso posted it on Skype, and I was paying attention, and it was weird because I mean nobody tried to repost it. It was like everybody freaked out, and they complied with it. From what I could see, I didn't see anybody try to rebroadcast it this year. And last election, man, it was everywhere. You went on to every single YouTuber's channel that was into politics, and they had it going, and it wasn't like that for me on this year around. I mean, the one thing that I know it comes back to what I've been saying, and me and Angel, we had conversations about this copyright thing for about a week and a half now, and
that was fun.
Well, it has a lot to do with what we've been talking about too, with how freaking much YouTube and Twitch and X and all these platforms are freaking they're basically bought up by these media sources that are outside of freaking the internet. You've got the music guild. They've got freaking their hands tight inside of this stuff. It's a racket for them. Then you wonder why on your recommendations when you go into YouTube, if you're not into freaking politics, they're recommending news and everything to you first above everything else, and that's because they're putting plugs in and they're getting paid big money for it. All of these media sources are YouTube and X's and Instagram, all their freaking major advertisers. When they're talking about advertisers, these are the people they're talking about. That was one reason why I got out of Facebook, was because Facebook was just completely saturated with nothing but freaking advertisement, and that's all it was. That and other than that, the personal things with like people that I knew on Facebook, I was sick and tired of hearing all of their craziness and stuff. So, but besides that, it was that, and that the fact that it's all a gimmick. You know what I mean? Like they dictate who gets to freaking use what, and the copyrights aren't really freaking all that legit when it comes to freaking the free music that Facebook offers you to use when you're a person who actually creates your own videos and your own content. So whenever I go into YouTube and Facebook. I freaking don't use any of their free music they have in their audio libraries because it's caused issues for me on different levels. Like, I've had situations where they have this music that's supposed to be free and you're not supposed to have any worries about copyright, and you put it on a video for, a video that you create on your own, and it's fine on for a while, but then after about maybe 6 8 months, freaking all of a sudden you're getting hit with a copyright infringement for a song that they freaking had in their audio library, and then the video games, like, whenever you go in and you play these video games, you've literally got to turn the freaking music all the way down because the video game industry and the freaking musical industry has it set up to where freaking they'll let the gamer or the games put their music on the game. But then what they do is they make it to where, like, if a person is streaming and they're have that music up, they'll get hit with a copyright infringement, and they'll allow them to use the video on their channel without any kind of consequences, as long as the freaking person who owns the songs gets the money instead of the person who freaking streamed the game, and that's something that they've looked at a blind eye to and let it go. And this right here is pretty much kind of what I've been talking about with frickin' the media. These news broadcasters come in and they say anybody who frickin' rebroadcasts this debate is going to get hit with frickin' copyright infringement, and bam, everybody, it just stops. You know what I'm saying? Because frickin' they know that they're going to get hit hard, and it's amazing to me that freaking these news sources has that much influence on these platforms. It just completely amazes me, and it's all a scam. That's why I tell everybody, if you're creating your own stuff, don't freaking go on there and get that free music from Facebook, from YouTube, from any of them. Because freaking it'll come back to bite you. And I've also found out that if you get free music out of the audio library and Facebook, don't use that video again on YouTube, because they don't respect it as freaking uncopyright on YouTube, but they do on Facebook. So if you take that and you put it on a YouTube channel, you'll get hit with copyright on that too. That's another part of it. So I've said it before and I'll say it again, use your own music. Don't freaking use other people's shit. If you're going to be a content creator, freaking use your own stuff. Don't rely on other sources for, music, video. Learn how to make your own graphics, stuff like that. So that I'll pass.
Angel.
Yeah, I stand with Roger over here. I mean, that's the whole trick, gang. You want to avoid any strikes on YouTube? Just don't use anybody else's material. Use your own shit. I post all kinds of crazy stuff on there all the time, and I'm talking about topics I get to on my show and whatnot. And I don't have that issue when it comes to getting copyright strikes because I don't use anybody else's music. I create my own music, or I use my friends in the industry who give me copyright agreements that I can use their music in case I get hit by any kind of copyright from the algorithms. I simply send over the letter of availability and clearance to use that music. And normally that's only when I have a guest in the industry, in the music industry, who wants to sample some music on my show or whatever. I get a wave, clearance wave, via electronically email, And that I send over to YouTube, and they usually clear the show, and the copyright strikes are taken off. This is how you avoid those kind of entanglements. A lot of folks don't understand that, and they think they're being targeted by YouTube because remember, we're playing in platforms that don't belong to us. And unfortunately, it does suck. But when you're creating content and you're a content creator, and you're an artist in general, you want your artistry or whatever you're creating to be you know at least yours and not abused by other sources and other people. You want the integrity to be there for what you're creating. And at some point, some creators become very attached to what they're doing. And you just don't want anybody to come and say, "Hey, you did all that work. Now I'm gonna take your stuff and I'm gonna use it from my end." And maybe he becomes famous off of something you did, and then you're in the background saying, "Yeah, but I did all that work for that," and he's the one, ripping the benefits. That's why we have, copyright laws. I get around that by creating my own music, my own artwork. I create my own websites. I do everything on my own. And again, if I should happen to need, a license agreement from a friend in the industry, it's only because it's somebody who is putting out music or a movie, and I need to play a trailer, or I need to play their music. In fact, I had to get one recently because I played some of the film on a trailer, on a reaction for a movie that I did, not a trailer reaction, but an actual reaction video for YouTube for the movie Demise, which is by Gravitas Pictures. And my friend Carlo Mendez is the main star of the movie. By the way, shout outs to Carlo. He is a friend of mine. I've known him since 1993. Okay, and he's a star of the movie, but I had to make sure that I took care of not getting a copyright strike because I am using their material. I got that, no issues. You have to learn how to play by the rules of their system because it's like I tell everybody who gets mad at this: if somebody comes into your house and starts putting their feet in on your couch, you're gonna get mad, right? Because it's your property. If somebody comes into your house and says, "Hey, I own this. I do whatever I want," you're gonna throw them the hell out, right? So we have to kind of like play into the system of whatever platform we're using, and understand it's not our house. And if we do that by avoiding issues like copyright strikes, most people won't get into any issues. The thing is, a lot of people take offense to it and get their feelings hurt because they don't understand the laws properly. And that's just a sad ignorance of a lot of folks who are on YouTube, who do make the mistake, and who then think it's they're being watched and they're being it's an agenda against them and it's a conspiracy. No, you idiot. Just stop using somebody else's music. If I can hear Megadeth on your video, or we ain't going to take it by Twisted Sisters, you should understand somebody's going to come at you and say, "Hey, you idiot, you're using copyright material. Stop it." Now, if you're using stuff that is on YouTube and it's copywritten for YouTube and they allow you to use it for YouTube, that's also in the terms of use and service. So you got to read those things. You can't just broadcast it somewhere else because there's legalities to the music they allow you to use for certain things. It's all very technical, mumbo jumbo-ish stuff. But with that said, that's my 2 cents. Whoever is going next, feel free to pick up and continue on.
So long as not somebody's rear.
Yes, Steven.
Fuck you up the goat ass.
Fuck you in the goat ass.
Well, now I'm just going to speak from the perspective of a documentarian who has used YouTube and other people's materials. Now, we have right here the copyright disclaimer. under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976, allowances made for fair use. Okay. For purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statutes that might otherwise be infringed. Nonprofit, educational, or personal use tips for the balance in favor of fair use. Now, I myself, I have used artists' music with their permission. Didn't matter. I got swatted anyways. I not swatted, but I got spanked for that anyways.
Yeah. Did you submit it by the way of form to YouTube? Because that got me out of trouble several times.
Mm-hmm.
No, not that kind of spanking. Sorry.
Whoa, young man.
So my okay. So first off, to threaten to copyright strike, to threaten to DMCA strike anybody preemptively is a violation of the TOS terms of service. It's a violation. I know this. I've been a part of TOS research and recreation. There's a TOS for TLB Talk. So I can tell you, threatening to do that to people is a violation of TOS. YouTube, TOS.
TOS like terms of service.
Terms of service.
Something.
Yeah.
Right.
So they're in violation to start off with. And they can only...
To a certain degree, though, V, not extensively, but to a certain degree. Because if you just go on and start playing music over and over and over and over again, that becomes an issue, and that's part of the terms of service also. It's, and it's also a certain amount of music you are allowed to use and not be in a term of service issue. Like, you can't just go there and play a full song because that creates a record of somebody else.
That's fine. That's not where I'm going.
Okay. Just making that clear for the audience.
Okay. So I have used news clips, tons of them. My next documentary is going to be all news clips that I'm going to be talking about. Yes, it's transformative. It's transformative. It makes it an entirely new product if you criticize, comment, report, teach,
correct,
etc. It makes it transforming property. The only way that CNN should be able to get away with this if someone is just straight up ripping the video and uploading it to their channel.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if they and I can tell you the reason why they don't want people doing that is because CNN, being the liberal Biden lap riders that they are, want to control all the negative comments. They don't want because CNN will shut off comments, whatever, delete comments they don't like, and it's censorship.
Well, that is they're going to bring the ratings up to V. I mean, how much eyes were on CNN in their websites, and I mean that was a huge rating boost, and they need that because their ratings are on the toilet.
Well, if people are allowed to say what they want to say, I mean, it's companies like CNN that got the dislike button counter removed because they don't want anybody with a negative opinion. They don't want anybody who actually knows what's going on to say anything contradictory to their narrative. That's why they're doing it. First off, so all people need to do if they're gonna re-upload something, throw I don't know, throw a watermark onto it. You don't have to sit there and comment about everything. Throw a watermark onto it. Shrink the video. Flip the video. As long as you transform it and it's not the original content, that content can be used. And they should. Okay? There needs to be other voices out there to talk about their crap. Absolutely. I think everybody should be doing it. Oh, you guys see the news last night? Let's go through it. And then have their comment sections explode with people's opinions and their insights. But they're just trying to shut down public opinion because they know that was an abysmal it was an abysmal debate. It really was.
But here's the counter to that, though, V. Even on their own CNN news channel, they all admitted that the debate was a total failure by Biden. Like, so I mean, and to what point are they hiding it? I mean, they can't.
Yeah.
That's it's so clear that even the people that hate Trump are like, yeah, Biden blew this big time. That this is a disaster. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. So that's why we're seeing this, and it's damn right criminal. But they're going to do what they do, and I say let them do what they do. As long as other people can counter it. And that's what's important. So, what do you got coming out of the rear, Pearson?
Well, it's not coming out of yours.
It's slippery when wet. Slip and slide.
I'm giving you a hard time because you ducked down the last show.
He's giving you a hard time.
Yeah, he's hard.
He's giving you a hard time, Roshan.
We don't really know why your back gave out, Gerson. Just admit it. But continue on with the topic.
Fuck you, one and all.
Bring it up the rear, Mr. Steve. Any day now.
Yeah, well, I was just going to say, I'm a little... Yeah, good night. Yeah, not much longer.
Closer to the microphone. Yeah, we can't hear you. A little closer. Make love to it. Pretend you're looking at those pictures together. There you go. Oh, yeah.
Nicholas. Anyway.
Oh, yeah.
You know, I'm actually disappointed with everybody that didn't bring up the guy that bought 25% of Discovery, which part owns, well, he has 25% stake, say in the matter of, what was his name again? Malone? He's a mega Trump donor. Yeah, billionaire John Malone has bought 25% of Discovery, which encompasses CNN. And he may not have a majority stake in what goes on, but he's got a pretty damn big fucking voice. Maybe I'm just reading something in the tea leaves that may or may not be there. I don't know. But to me, that one doesn't make any sense at all. And the fact that CNN has gone on the record for pulling all of this crap and this shit. I don't know. To me, it honestly, it just does not add up at all. So take what I have to say with a grain of salt, or a couple of pinches, or whatever works for you. I don't know. I don't care. But I don't know, like, yeah, that's all I'm gonna say. It's
Did you just have a Biden moment there, Steve? Because
no, I didn't have a Biden moment, but even if I did, I'd be wandering around, just kind of wondering, oh well, what's that over there?
Wearson's doing his gaffes.
Having a Biden moment.
deep down right
I-
now, he's thinking, why can't the color purple taste like Urples? What are Urples?
Having
No.
a Biden moment.
Is it like grapes?
I
One
assure
thing
you, I have.
before
Go ahead.
before you guys move on this topic, though, to be honest, I think this would actually be a good topic at some point in the future. I sent a message to you, Naroki, about it earlier, and especially with the copyright thing, and how much power these people really have when it comes to platforms. Because I could agree with Angel on a lot of stuff that he said, except for, the thing of it is YouTube and Facebook, they're not spying on you and they aren't out to get you. But what's going on is freaking they are actually trying to freaking push people out. You know what I mean? Like that's the big deal about it. Like it seems odd to me that freaking I can go on to Rumble and I can pretty much post anything I want and I don't get copyright. And
Because their terms of service is different. That's the thing.
and no,
Remember,
I mean
every company has
the
different
amazing part
rules.
is that, but the thing of it is I go onto YouTube and I freaking take over a freaking channel that has no copyright infringements on short videos of UFOs sightings and ghost sightings. And the reason why they wanted to take it off of the channel was because it didn't comply with the freaking oh god, what is it, Creative Commons thing. Because nobody was commenting on the video. Now that isn't legal whatsoever. That is just a term that YouTube put in there because they felt that freaking you needed to alter it a little bit. Okay, that has nothing to do with the law. If you
No,
have
but that's their term service. That's their way of doing it, and
no,
that's why
no,
you see a lot.
no,
But
hold
that's
on.
why you see
This
a
is
lot of
hold
show.
on.
Hold
You
on, real
said
quick.
Well,
let me finish. Let me finish because now see that is their terms and that isn't
Right.
legal. Now what
Doesn't
are
matter. It's their
I
terms.
hey I'm trying to explain
Guys,
something.
let's not talk over people, please. Finish, Roger.
Okay, now what happens is they turn around and they do that because they are trying to get rid of people who frickin' use frickin' footage that frickin' even though it's not copyright infringed, it's somebody else's material. They are still trying to get them out of there because they're frickin' making videos of aliens. They're making videos of frickin' ghosts. They're making videos of anything that goes against them. Okay, I've literally had to freaking delete over 5 years of video that was two to 5 minutes long, simply because nobody was on the video talking. And that was it. No copyright infringement, no nothing. And that made me sick because I watched this channel since it first came out, okay? And then when I took over and became partners of it, I had to go and delete every single one of those videos. All right. And now I'm not going to sit and I'm not going to say that that's freaking right, no matter what anybody says, okay? And people on YouTube aren't ignorant, okay? They are telling you straight point blank what's going on. These people are bulldogging people off of YouTube, and that's why they're going to other freaking platforms. It has absolutely nothing to do with, oh, that's their channel. They can do whatever they want to do with it, okay? They are doing this stuff because they are bought and sold by the freaking media sources, and that's just the way it is, okay? And that's all I got to say about it.
All right.
All I was going to add to that real quick was that that's why you see more and more content creators talk over video clips so they avoid that issue. But thank you for not letting me out to just add a little snippet in there.
Okay, well, you're up anyway, Angel, so go ahead.
Well, that's where I was going to go with. No, but I don't disagree with most of what you said there, Roger. Uh, I'm in mostly agreement to a lot of that. The thing is, you also have to understand, like I said on my statements before, we were playing in somebody else's yard. And while it might suck because it hinges or infringes on what we think is, our right, at times we have to make do with what we have and learn to navigate through the waters. You know what I mean? But with that said, this is where you have to become a real content creator and learn how to do that without getting yourself in trouble. Now, while I think all content should be free to use, right? I mean, in a perfect world, that'll be the case. But when you're an artist that makes music, I understand, or an artist that has no input in what's being put out there and they're using like your music, why would you not get mad? I mean, if it's something that I don't want to be used for that, I don't understand why they want to hit you up with a copyright strike. But that's up to the artist and to the industry, and then to the platform that you're on. I'm just talking about one thing. Now, when it comes to news, look, you can get stuff from like Congress on PBS or whatever these channels, clip those up and put them on there and put your stamp on there and post it. I've done it, and nothing happens to you. And put it like if it's your news network or something, nothing happens to you. It could be 3, 5, 10 minutes. I've done it on my network and not got an issue because that's more free. It's not that it's copyright free, but they see it more as educational or important because it's like a Congress clip or something that's important to society, so they kind of like have that in the terms as an agreement. That's why you see a lot of clips of people in Congress speaking. But what CNN did is, is to make sure they control the narrative. They don't, allow too much negative commenting on there because I think, initially thought that they were going to be able to have at least Joe Biden go out there and not look like The Walking Dead, okay? And this cat looked like he was in The Walking Dead. I mean, he looked more dead than any of the dead in The Walking Dead or Fear of the Walking Dead or any of the spin-offs. He actually really resembled the Poltergeist in Poltergeist 2. Remember the creepy old guy? Guys?
Yep.
Remember?
Yes, I
Yeah.
remember.
Yeah, I mean, this is exactly what I saw when I was watching the debate. It was that guy literally, and Trump was like eating him alive. And the best part of the debate, and I don't know if you guys heard this, is when Trump hit him with, "Brandon, just go speak to them."
By the
And
way, yeah, we're actually covering CNN. Debate is the next topic. Just saying, Angel, but continue.
okay, yeah, but no, I'm just saying that was like one of the best clips of the night, right? And look, this is pretty much where I guess, I'm going to end here and just let the next person continue so we can get to the next topic because it's probably going to leak over anyway. So, who is próximo?
That would be
Next. The rest of
V. I think it's V. V, you're up.
You're still talking about CNN?
Yes, we are. I know the 3 and 4 kind of like blend together, but yeah, we need to just
Yeah, it confuses
said
my piece. I already said my piece about CNN. So
Okay, well then we'll go on to Rearson here then.
Okay, well, I already said what I needed to say about Robert Malone, and I'll probably steal some of your thunder here on this one. with the copyright, but as well, and this blends in with going into the debate. There was a 1 to 2 minute pause for them to edit shit. And as well, there was no live audience. So I'm kind of thinking there's a lot of fuckery going on. And I'll just leave it at that, and I won't comment on topic 4.
Good point.
Yeah, there was a lot of stuff that happened out of him, which, by the way, very neatly slides us into the next section on this video. And I mean, I think let's just make it official here. Trump won that
Son was
debate.
not a loser, was not a sucker.
Yes.
You're the sucker. You're the loser.
All of the things he's done, we've become like a third world nation, and it's a shame.
You're a whiner. When you lost the first time.
I've never seen anybody lie like this guy. He lies. I've never seen it. He could look you in the face about so many other things, too. What this man has done is absolutely criminal.
Now, there was no studio audience, and it was more of a Q&A session than a debate. There was limited time for responses from the candidates, and they were unable to interrupt each other or interject, as normally happens during debates. The moderators seemed to be pretty careful with Joe Biden. Let's review, however, what they couldn't really cover up, despite giving him a little bit of easier treatment.
The total initiative relative to what we're going to do with more Border Patrol and more asylum officers.
President Trump?
I really don't know what he said at the end of that sentence. I don't think he knows what he said either.
Making sure that we're able to make every single solitary person eligible for what I've been able to do with the with the COVID. Excuse me, with dealing with everything we have to do with. Look. If we finally beat Medicare.
Thank you, President Biden. President Trump?
I made sure every company in the world, every pharmaceutical company, cannot have to pay.
Thank you.
And by the way,
Biden's performance did not go unnoticed, and the first words out of U.S. mainstream media commentators were a desperate cry about the situation in American politics and openly commenting on Joe Biden's cognitive status.
Was a game-changing debate in the sense that right now, as we speak, there is a deep, a wide, and a very aggressive panic in the Democratic Party. And they're having conversations about the president's performance, which they think was dismal, which they think will hurt other people down the party in the ticket. And they're having conversations about what they should do about it.
The people who were texting me were even more panicked. They actually expected it to be better than it was. And now they're in I won't say a full-fledged panic, but it's getting there.
The panic level, particularly among elected Democrats who have to share the ballot with him, there's a full-on panic tonight.
I want to put up some of these tweets and reactions here from Jackie Heinrich. She says a very well-connected Democratic source tells her the House and the Senate are the GOP's for now. Everyone is freaking out. He needs to go. No way they replace him unless he agrees there. So you want to talk about Dem-level freakout at the moment.
Caleb, nevertheless, this debate was highly anticipated. Tens of millions of viewers in the U.S. watched it. Take us through the key moments. They discussed both domestic and foreign policy.
Well, on foreign policy, we had Trump, who kept stressing that Biden's foreign policy was leading the country into World War III. Biden was insisting that his foreign policy was leading the United States back into a position of leadership around the world and in the right direction. Now, when it came to Ukraine, Donald Trump was basically asked whether or not he would accept the Russian president's peace terms for the country, and he completely dodged the question. This was Donald Trump responding.
Continue to move until we get the total ban.
Zelensky comes to this country. He walks away with $60 billion. He's the greatest salesman ever. And I'm not knocking him. I'm not knocking anything. I'm only saying the money that we're spending on this war, and we shouldn't be spending, it should have never happened. I will have that war settled between Putin and Zelensky as president-elect before I take office on January 20th. I'll have that war settled.
Donald Trump emphasized, as he often does, that the war in Ukraine would never have happened if he were president, and that he intends to finish it or settle it. He did not go into detail about how that would be, and that leaves many people wondering what Donald Trump really plans to do with the conflict.
So, Caleb, what was Biden's response, his take on the Ukrainian crisis? Did he have a response to Trump's promise to end the war?
He wasn't even asked about that, and he was not confronted about the billions of dollars, the American taxpayer money that's been sent to Ukraine. Instead, he repeatedly called the Russian president a war criminal. He warned that if the Russians are not stopped in Ukraine, they will march into Europe, they will attack NATO countries. And one of the countries he listed as being a NATO country was Belarus.
This guy told Ukraine, he told Trump. The fact is that Putin is a war criminal. He's killed thousands and thousands of people. And he has made one thing clear. He wants to reestablish what was part of the Soviet Empire, not just a piece. He wants all of Ukraine. That's what he wants. And then you think he'll stop there? Do you think he'll stop when if he takes Ukraine? What do you think happens to Poland? What do you think of Belarus? What do you think happens to those NATO countries?
Caleb, another hot-button issue, of course, for the country's foreign policy is the war in Gaza. What did the two candidates have to say about that?
Well, it was interesting to see that both of the candidates presented themselves as allies of Israel, presented the other as potentially not being a reliable ally of Israel. And despite the fact that we saw that huge upsurge of protests, et cetera, supporting Palestine, both candidates were trying to present themselves as more reliably pro-Israel than the other. What was also interesting is there was one moment where Donald Trump told Biden, "You sound like a Palestinian, but they hate you also because you're a weak one." And that moment had many people around the world looking on and saying, why is "you sound like a Palestinian" an insult? The people were wondering exactly who Trump was trying to appeal to with that remark, why he felt that was the necessary way to refer to Joe Biden. But overall, they both had a pro-Israeli sentiment. Trump said October 7th never would have happened if he were president, and Biden said that he was supporting Israel and doing everything he could, and that Hamas must be completely destroyed, echoing some of Netanyahu's rhetoric.
Caleb, what about domestic issues? I know for Americans that's the most important thing, despite all the conflict going on globally.
Well, they both considered the other candidate to be the worst president in history, and that was made clear. They both blamed each other for the economy and had competing statistics about why that was, competing explanations of the COVID pandemic and its economic impact and who is responsible for what, who's responsible for inflation, what policies were to blame there. The issue of abortion came up, and as is noted, the U.S. Supreme Court has made it possible for U.S. states to legalize abortion, which is something that many Trump supporters, are in favor of. It made it possible for states to outlaw abortion, which previously the U.S. Supreme Court had not allowed. Many of Trump's supporters are very opposed to abortion and want states to have the right to outlaw abortion. Now, Donald Trump made a point of bringing up the immigration issue over and over and over again, as that seems to be the issue that is of most importance to many of his supporters, and that there's many people in the U.S. that are very concerned about it. Now, at one point, they did talk about January 6th and the January 6th events, and Donald Trump essentially dodged the question, and he just said that, well, back on January 6th, when I was still president, we had a great secure border, we were number one, and we had energy independence, and he didn't really address the issue of the Capitol riot of January 6th. American politics is in quite a strange moment. This is not a normal time in the election cycle for a debate to take place. The feeling that Biden just didn't do very well in terms of performance, and the feeling that it may be possible that at the Democratic National Convention they could replace him with another candidate, that is certainly widespread. There's already been talk of such a thing happening, and now that talk is escalating. If one listens to U.S. media, there is speculation the Democrats may replace Biden with someone else as their nominee, but there's others saying that Biden is not willing to step down, and Biden's allies are very committed to keeping him on the ticket. A lot of questions are being raised. People view this largely, the reaction is that this was a win for Trump, if not just an epic loss for Biden, maybe not a win for Trump, but a loss for Biden, no doubt.
Well, you'll remember, Jason, that they didn't really have a Democratic primary at all. They didn't give Democrat voters in that primary an option. But here we find ourselves as we see all of this inner squabbling happening amongst Democrats and influential people in the Democratic sphere about whether or not Joe Biden should remain the nominee or whether they should swap him out. And you look at why this infighting is happening. It's because they don't really care about what's best for the country. Quite frankly, when you look at it, really, they don't really care about Joe Biden. This isn't about loyalty to Joe Biden. They're trying to figure out how best they can stay in power. So they're trying to figure out, is Joe Biden that winning horse, or do they need to put him out to pasture and find someone else that they believe can win, who will also be a figurehead that they can be the puppet masters for and control. So he pointed out Jill and Hunter Biden, but really I think there's something far more serious going on here about who's really in control. Clearly, Joe Biden showed the country in the debate that he is incapable of being the president and commander-in-chief, clearly is not calling the shots. So we should all be asking who is really calling the shots, and it's what we know to be the deep state. It's those who are in unelected positions, whether they be political figures, the military-industrial complex, the national security state, their friends in the propaganda media, everyone who gets their power by knowing that they can control this figurehead, which is why they're doing all they can to destroy Trump, because they know that he will expose them and dismantle their power.
As dead as a kipper on a cracker.
Yep.
I mean, do bears shit in the woods and wipe their ass with like fluffy little white rabbits and then regurgitate and do it all over again and enjoy white rabbits?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, come on, Angel.
I don't.
We all know bears use shaman.
Well, that's.
Yeah, I knew it would be you guys who could fuck up an Eddie Murphy joke. You know, he even says it on Delirious. He uses that so you don't fuck his jokes up. You know that, right? Like that joke. He said, just use this joke. You can't mess it up. But guess what?
We messed it up. Well, that's what happens on the Red Pill Nation Hangout. We just mess up jokes just because we can. All right. So continuing on with this particular.
Maybe.
Oh my God! What an absolute! I mean. Based on what we had with topic number 3, CNN and Democrats engaged in everything possible to slant this in Biden's favor, and Biden still screwed it up. Now, if you go on to, and I mean, it's like, I gotta love the Democrat Party post up on Twitter where they just said, oh, well, Biden won. Like, as though people can't actually look, because I mean, CNN can threaten all they want to. There have been several posts up at YouTube with the whole debate. There's like literally all of the social media, including, by the way, Megtown TV, have copies of that debate up for viewing. So if you want to actually watch that debate in its entirety, you can. So yeah. The Democrats attempted to use word magic and just said, oh, well, Biden won. And it's sort of like, no, he didn't. And it was like the biggest thing I've been hearing coming from people in Hollywood on the left is like, well, Trump was lying all the way through. Well, it's like, well, I hate to break it to you, but the two hosts of that debate were people who have got a clear anti-Trump bias towards him. If Trump had been lying, they absolutely, especially since it was CNN, they absolutely would have called him on it. That the statement that Biden made about the border security guards was just absolutely hilarious. And it was like, it was very, very clear that Biden is mentally incontinent. And they've been trying to deny this, and it's sort of like, one of the conspiracy theories that I've been holding up is the fact that, I mean, they wanted this debate held early because they want to be able to replace Biden at the convention, which, by the way, is entirely possible. Given how I mean, I will tell you that ever since, for instance, ever since the conviction, what's happened is all of the so-called states that were borderline, including Wisconsin, by the way, Wisconsin went from being slightly in favor of Biden to being slightly in favor of Trump after the debate. Virginia, which seemed to be a solid lock for Biden, is now the only that it's like literally a dead heat. New Hampshire is sliding, New Jersey is sliding, and there's heard rumors that Oregon is sliding, potentially even New York is sliding. So, and then Biden, when he needed to stand up and deliver, just didn't, and it's being talked about all over the place. So that brings us up, and we're going to get into the realm of conspiracy theory here, something we talk about a lot here, but there's clearly they're not going to win this election with Biden. Here's the situation. It's like they cannot, I mean, Gavin Newsom is just not ready. I mean, he might be able to bring a few votes back in, and he might be able to make the race a little bit more interesting. But Gavin Newsom faced a recall in the state of California, which he won, by the way, because it's California. But I mean, it's like, yeah, like the Democrats did this to themselves. Biden cannot step down because Kamala Harris is even less popular than he is. They don't have anybody. I mean, they had a couple of solid Democrats that could have maybe given Trump a run for their money, but they don't. They're not directly in the pocket, or they don't appear to be. They weren't directly in the pocket of the globalist establishment. Although I have some reservations about Tulsi Gabbard, but Tulsi Gabbard and RFK and potentially Bernie Sanders could have made some type of a run against Trump. But they forced, and this is the thing, RFK, if you throw in the stuff with Robert F. Kennedy on top of the debacle that Biden did, I mean, it is pretty much over, even if Gavin Newsom, and by the way, I suspect that they will bring Gavin Newsom in. Here's the situation, though, is how are they going to deal with Biden? Because word has it that Joe Biden does not want to step down. And by the way, I don't think it's Joe Biden making that decision. I think it's his wife, Jill. I am almost tempted to put Jill into the same category as certain famous celebrities, because, I mean, it's like what she's doing to her husband is effectively elder abuse, if it was anybody else. And Jill has apparently gotten used to the trappings of being president, of being the first lady, and she does not want to give any of that up. And especially if she is the one effectively making the decisions, because Joe Biden is too mentally incompetent to do it himself. So that means that Joe Biden has gotten used to the power. So there's several options. Option number one is that Biden, this is the one I think is most likely, is Biden is going to step down at the convention. They're going to try to blame it on the delegates. That's my first suggestion. If Biden doesn't want to step down, or Jill Biden refuses to give up the power that she now has, and I think it is Jill Biden that's been doing this, then Joe Biden is going to have a couple things happen to him. Either he's going to have himself a medical issue before the convention, which will force him to resign, or Joe Biden will suddenly die. Now, if it is the second option, you need to understand if Joe Biden dies right now, would you want to vote for the person that replaces him, who will probably be Gavin Newsom? Because at that point, you will have established a record where you have individuals, Oh, and by the way, it will also effectively reduce the United States down to a banana republic if they do that. But you can't run it past them, right? So Joe Biden will be killed. The other option is that Joe Biden, they just throw everything they've got at Donald Trump and Joe Biden stays in. None of those options are very good. And to be quite honest with you, the people who were backing Joe Biden did this to themselves, and in no way do I feel sorry for them. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Roger.
Yeah, with the whole debate and everything, there's a lot of things that you also have to take into consideration because I don't want to get too deep into this, but you got to understand there's things going on in Biden's life too that doesn't necessarily have to do with politics, you know. And personally, I feel that the man was drunk because I remember back when he was vice president and he would always do these videos or these appearances on the White House. I believe it might have been Facebook or YouTube channels where they have the White House and then they do a weekly video. And he would get on there and he would give a message to the states. And every time he would sound drunk, you know, and I'd pointed it out. I've been saying it ever since he was vice president that he and he's admitted that he's got a drinking problem, you know. So everybody's been saying that it's like he's got a mental disorder and everything because of things that have happened to him. But I mean, for me, that's kind of debatable whenever you listen to him and you watch him. Like the other night, if you go and look at it, I mean, there's a good chance he was drunk. I mean, because the behaviors he had wasn't just because he's old, you know. Yeah, he's 86, I believe, 87, somewhere around there, but put alcohol on top. Yeah.
No, he's 80, 80s or 82 around there.
No, they said that in the debate that he was 4 years older than Trump, and Trump is 82. So,
I'll tell you right now.
But
Joe Biden is 81 years old.
81. Okay.
Yeah,
so
I'm looking at it right now. November 20, 1942 is his birthday.
Well, my
Makes
whole
him
point.
81.
My whole point is you put alcohol into somebody that's 81, and that's pretty dangerous. You know, that person that age shouldn't be drinking to the point where he'd look like that. So that's one thing that I've seen. But also, even if there is problems with him mentally, and because of his age and stuff, that's something to worry about. But also, like this next topic about the Attorney General Merrick Garland, that's something else that you need to take into consideration too, because with Garland, it has to do with the interviews and stuff that was taking place with Joe Biden, and they have to show Joe Biden as being this poor old person with, you know, mental issues and stuff like that, old age. So he could be going out there and just putting an act on, you know, because he's wanting to save his own ass. I have a feeling Joe Biden and his son are going down, and they're going to go down hard. And he has to make a decision between the presidency or his freedom and his son's freedom, because if you guys haven't noticed, a lot of people are caught up in this Donald Trump hearing thing, but it's happening on the other side too with the Democrats, with Joe Biden and his sons. They're actually wanting to hold Merrick in contempt because he's not wanting to cooperate with the hearings going on. So there's a lot of different things is what I'm saying going on there. So there's no telling what that's all about. All I can tell you now is with that debate, I can honestly say freaking Joe Biden's presidency is gone. And I just hope that Kamala isn't freaking going to run for president if he steps away and somebody else has to step up, because I mentioned it earlier. She's a crazy bitch. She is horrible. She'll do some bad shit. And I warned too against Donald Trump having Pence as a freaking vice president. You know, that man was a horrible person too, but Donald Trump did exactly what Ronald Reagan did with when he was running. Ronald Reagan had a pretty good run, but the moment he freaking allowed freaking Bush Sr. to become his vice president was when it was all over, because he allowed a neocon to come in and freaking basically Ronald Reagan basically became a freaking puppet of the party, and that's what they did with Trump. Trump came out, and I believe Trump was honest. He wanted to freaking be a good president. He wanted to do the right thing, but the moment he allowed Pence to freaking be his vice president, that's when it all changed. And the moment he got into office, the first thing he should have done was those investigations that he promised his supporters he was going to do, but he backed out of it, and now he's paying for it. You know, so hopefully when he gets into office this time, he'll do those freaking investigations and he'll start cleaning house like he promised to do the first time. So that I'll pass.
Well, you noticed, Roger, how they've asked Trump a couple times now if he does win the election, will he investigate
Yep.
Biden?
They're trying to freaking trap him. They're doing
Right.
the same stuff. If he says yes or no, he's trapped.
I mean, so far he's given the right answer. You know, he's kind of staying very vague about it. You know, he'll say things like, "Well, I'll consider, you know, this or whatever," which is the right thing to say. You don't want to entrap yourself. So remember, he might look like a big orange idiot, but he's actually pretty clever. You don't stay a billionaire and make more billions and get all these people to like try to take all your money away if you're not at least a little smart. Okay, so let's get that out of the way. And especially when all these leftists are coming after you, it's because you're really not part of their club. If not, they wouldn't be doing all these things to them. Now, with that all said, we have to also remember here that this is a global cabal. Okay, and they're trying to do whatever social changes they want to do, and that goes against everything that we have here in this country, and against what our forefathers fought for. And Trump, I think, really was naive when he got into office because he really did want to do good. And I agree. I think when he hooked up with Mike Pence, because that was pushed onto him, not being a long life politician, and remember he's a business guy, and not part of any secret societies, so he's not in the big cabal business. But being that he's made so much money, he's able to run. But when he got in for the for the running and he won the GOP, they pushed Pence onto him like they did to Reagan. And, you know, when you said that when, you know, Bush Sr. jumped in, when that's when Reagan had his downfall. No, Bush Sr. was pushed onto Reagan at the same time Pence was done to Trump. And it was done before they even started their presidency. Remember, Bush Sr. was there from the beginning of the presidency to the end. And ironically, speaking of dementia, Ronald Reagan had dementia by the end of his term. I don't know if you guys remember that. And he died with dementia several years later and Alzheimer's. And that's what we have now in the White House with Sleepy Creepy Joe. Now, here's the kicker, and this is where it gets kind of scary about transitioning somebody into a position of running in case they can get Joe out of running, which is, I believe, the exact topic we're onto here. Now, the reason it is nearly impossible is because there are laws when it comes to the money raised in a campaign past a certain date. When it's this near the election, if Joe Biden was to drop out of this race right now and be replaced by somebody not already on the ticket, it would not work because that money cannot be transferred over. So it would have to be Kamala Harris as the president, and then whoever comes in has to be her vice president. They can't just have her stay as vice president and bring in, say, Gavin Newsom and replace him. It legally can't work. And if they try to go and change that law, guess what? That will show the entire country and the world that yes, the left cannot be trusted, and it'll be an onslaught during election day. It'll be a red wave like you've never seen before, and this is right now terrifying the liberals in America. All right, this is why they're panicking because who is in as vice president? Kamala Harris, the most hated vice president this country's ever seen. Now, Mike Pence was a complete tool, okay? He received this 3 coins of gold when he betrayed Trump in the government. He was placed in there like Bush Sr. I completely agree with that. But Kamala Harris is literally hated by everyone. Nobody likes her. Nobody's ever liked her. She had never got one single vote to, be a president when she ran. She literally does nothing but laugh like a hyena. She's lied to the American public and the world about her own heritage. She keeps saying that she's a black African American when her parents are from India, because you're born in Jamaica doesn't make you an African American. Okay, let's get that straight. There's no India or Jamaica in Africa. So she is not African American in no way, shape, or form. And her families owned and traded slaves. Let's get this facts out there. And so did Biden's family. Biden's family still has plantations owned by the Bidens. These are facts. So for all my black Democrat friends out there who are still voting blue no matter who, guess what? You're voting for literally the descendants of slave owners. Okay? In the party of Jim Crow laws. Okay? In the party of Planned Parenthood, which was aimed to kill black babies. Okay? This is all facts. You know who never had families that owned slaves or plantations? The Trumps. That's also a fact. You know who doesn't belong to secret societies? Donald Trump. You know who does? Joe Biden. Kamala Harris. That's their inner circle. They fear Trump in a lot of ways because it was like a spy within these circles. He got so rich that he was able to, place himself in these people's worlds and kind of like observe what they did. He's been saying a lot of this same stuff about the world and how they take advantage of us for decades. This is why they fear him. This is why they hate him. This is why they're doing what they're doing to him. This is why this has never been done to any other president who was a Republican, because they were all in on the plan. And this is why I back Trump 2024. With that said, I'm done. Who's next? V?
Yep, V, you're up.
Descendants of slave owners. No, they're still currently slave owners.
This is true. I stand corrected.
Yeah. So, oh man, I got some notes here. I actually watched the debate. Woo! You guys are supposed to be like, oh my God, B, watch something. All right. Yeah, I'm so
Besides
sick of
yourself in the mirror, I mean, that you love watching that. Be honest.
well, Biden lied about so much stuff. It was okay. I got bullet points here. So Biden lied about inflation being Trump's fault, as Trump stated 14 months into Biden's administration, during his reign here. That's when the inflation started. Now, I can attest to that because I was out of the country. And when you're out of the country, you got to trade dollars, right? You got to trade dollars for slaughters. The exchange rate was as high as 4.26 slaughters per dollar. Now, underneath the Biden's administration, it crashed. I think I started getting 3.2 status on the dollar. Another reason why I had to get the hell out of Poland, because I'm just being ripped off at the exchange places because they charge on top of that. So a lot of my money is just flying in other people's pockets. Biden said, well, I mean, on top of it, Biden is the one destroying the Medicare system. Social Security, yeah, destroying that too. By allowing not immigrants, but illegal aliens to get health care and Social Security. I mean, if these are illegals and Biden is doing this stuff for him, his administration, that makes him an accessory to a crime. Okay? That's a fact. I don't care if he is the president. That's a crime. I mean, on top of it, I mean, he keeps downplaying the problems at the border. I mean, he's really trying to deflect. Biden lied about Trump taking more children at the border than him. We know that's a lie. Because, oh my God, it's so ridiculous how much he wants to lie. Biden lied about taking better care of the troops with the VA. And it's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. The economy. I mean, I'm going to go down the list here. He's talking about Trump being friends with Putin, essentially. And you know what? That's a good thing. That's a good thing. Trump and Putin were all buddy. If they're buddy, that means no war. So, with Trump out of office, him stealing the election, this obviously rigged election. Oh man, they didn't like that. This obvious rigged election, he essentially threw us into war with Russia. Okay? That invasion of Ukraine would not have happened if Trump was in office. I firmly believe that. And Biden talks about the support that we get from other countries in this proxy war. His examples were South Korea and Japan. Well, of course they're going to support us. Those are both protectorate nations underneath America. The treaty we have with Japan after World War II meant their disarmament. Of course, South Korea is the proxy country to North Korea. That they have to support us because who's going to help keep North Korea in check? So yeah, South Korea is going to be on their knees, filleting whatever the United States has to say. Suck that big government. You know what?
You know the thing.
Yeah, the thing.
What are you referring to?
Yeah.
The thing.
I don't understand.
The thing.
The thing.
Anyways,
Roger's the thing.
Oh,
yeah, you know the thing.
The black
Come on,
cock.
man.
And then Biden, on top of it, wants to attack Trump for January 6th, which is ridiculous. It's not like he rallied them up to do so. Yeah, he let them in peacefully. The Constitution, specifically the Second Amendment, says we can bear arms to overthrow a corrupt government. Now, these people didn't have any guns, but they still wanted to overthrow the government, and that is their right. Okay, that's their constitutional right. The January 6th patriots are not criminals. Trump let him in because he knows they weren't mad at him. They're mad at the rest of the government. I support his decision and the way he handled that situation. I do. And Biden, employment of black people is record low. Record low underneath Biden. Okay, that says a lot. Paid less at the same jobs, everything. Oh, Trump says he put more cops on the streets. That's a good thing he did. Well, yeah, no, the rate of black people are put into jail has increased, not whites. That's no reason why more minorities are supporting Trump. Biden pays $1 trillion for climate change while other nations pay nothing. Well, problem with that is, and this kind of ties into what we were talking about on Angel's show earlier.
Don't go there, man. Don't go there. Don't go there.
Silence, rear. You're about to get rear-ended.
Does that have to do with black cock again, doesn't it?
Catching the rear end of our
yeah, it did.
I discussed the whole point of the climate change and the chemtrailing, the geoengineering. Okay, paying $1 trillion. Why? Because we control the weather. The United States secret government controls the freaking weather. You have that kind of money into it. The other nations aren't. I mean, we're becoming a superpower, unlike any other that has ever existed. Well, within this span of human existence, not the other ones. Uh, and just lying about the economy. Every politician lies about the economy. Oh, the economy is great. We're doing so much, but yet it gets worse and worse and worse. Lying. It's more expensive to have childcare than to pay rent. Yeah. Of course, underneath his administration, of course. They want to talk about the fentanyl problem. Well, the thing about that is, for one, that really shouldn't be a government issue. The war on drugs has always been a war on the people, not the drugs. Because it is the politicians that are letting in. The cocaine cowboys, the CIA, flooding the country with it to fund their secret wars. You don't think that's happening? Iran-Contra is just the formula that we saw. It's still going on today. The cocaine cowboys love their Biden because he's their puppet. Yeah, those borders stay open so that the drugs can kill people, get people addicted, so they get busted and go to jail, get that federal money for that human trafficking, right? Or it's just flat out killing people, population control. See, when you understand that you have Darwinian eugenic believing a-holes within the governments, it's their philosophy that only the strong survive. Only ones that make the best decisions underneath their rules are the ones to survive. America's not about freedom and living your way of life. They want you to live their way of life. And with that, they can suck a big fat one, in my opinion. They can go to hell with their prohibition. Because they really want to stop the drugs in the country, it would have ceased. Okay? Government has deals with the cartels. Police departments have deals with the cartels. It's corrupt through and through. And it's all just to create a matrix within the matrix so that people can get trapped in them. You can't stop people from doing drugs. Hell, we evolved into who we are because of drugs.
V, not to cut you off real quick, but remember also Hollywood is big time players in this because they purchase a lot of these drugs under on the down low.
I've heard horror stories of these aspiring actors and actresses. There's this one actor who told a story. He never told his name, but he told a story of him trying to act. He comes across this big time director, producer. This guy kind of invites him to a party where they drug him. They get him on a private plane to fly to some island somewhere where he's to meet the biggest stars in the world. The biggest, best stars in the world. Yeah, he saw orgies. He saw all manners of debauchery. But he's on this plane and he's coming to, right? And they say, hey, you're going to meet all these people. However, there's a fee. Oh, what? You can't pay this fee? Oh, well, guess what? I'll pay the fee for you, but you got to do something in return. You got to prove yourself. So he gets to this island, and he's in a room full of people. Some guy whips out his junk and tells him to open his mouth. He said, no, screw this, I'm out of here. Got grabbed, got slapped around, and said, this is the only chance you're ever going to get to be in Hollywood. So he's there on his knees, and he's getting, well, I'm trying to be clean here. The guy's urinating in his mouth. Everybody has their laughs. It's a great time. And then he was told he had to cage fight, wherein he had to kill somebody for his freedom. They drugged him again, and he woke up 3 days later in a homeless camp in Oregon. Yeah, Hollywood uses drugs. Not just for partying. The CIA is not going to stop that. The government's not going to stop that. Because government is on their knees flaying a lot of Hollywood people too. So I don't want to get any further into that. But anyways, back to the debate. I do have one gripe about Trump. Trump lied about the whole clean air, clean water. Underneath me, the water is cleaner, the air is cleaner. No, it's not. There's fluoride still in the water. There's geoengineering still going on. Now, he did say that was a big money scam, geoengineering. He did say that. So I guess I'll kind of forgive him for that slip up. And with that said, Pearson, take the ball gag out of your mouth, and it's your turn.
No, don't worry. Your ass is safe with me. I have no desire for it. Period.
Oh,
Okay,
nice
so
and gentle.
Wow. Joseph.
Oh, somebody's making a lot of noise. What's going on?
Not me.
It dawned on me on the last episode whenever Hiroki had that weird sounding chick in his freaking front room. She said,
Yeah.
She said, suck on his toe or some shit like that.
I did hear something about, damn right, I suck toes.
Mm-hmm. Perverts.
Okay, well, all right, Rearson, let's skip this moving, please. Brett, shoot.
I'm gonna try to make this quick. Okay, so the tone of
Louder,
Biden,
Rearson. Louder.
the tone of Biden.
Like a man.
Okay, guys, let's just speak up a little bit, but yeah, no more interruptions, please. Thanks.
Yeah. So Joe Biden's tone during the debate was soft. It was hollow. I didn't watch it, but I've watched other people that have, and he wasn't there. Like, he honestly wasn't there. I know of more than a few occasions that Trump has basically just said Joe doesn't even know that he's alive. Take that however you will, and I'm still of the opinion this was rigged in the sense that there has to be a certain level of normality. It has to be passed along for, shall we say. And for me, it's not. I don't even know where to start with this one. Like I said, there was no live audience. It's a 1 to 2 minute delay And enough of the time, you could see, allegedly, apparently, Biden was just kind of staring off and did nothing. Or he was looking through the camera, he was looking past the camera, and he was effectively dead in the eyes. And there were no harsh remarks or retorts with Trump. Just, I mean, what was the one he just said? I didn't understand what Joe said, and I don't think Joe even knows what he said. You know,
He called them branded one time, by the way. It was very clever.
Okay, well, be that as it may. No, present company excluded, but for enough of the American public, that is still people like my father, I suppose, and a mutual friend between Hiroki and I. These are going to be people that are going to be anybody but Trump. And it came down to it is that Trump's delivery was subdued. Like, I mean, you can't really call it elder abuse because that's like literally beating a dead horse. And to me, my opinion is that that's exactly what Biden is. He's a dead horse. Jesus, Mary Joseph. Oh, you guys are never satisfied. That's what I'm going to say.
No. We just want to be able to hear you. That's all.
At the end of the day, if New York can hear me well enough, that's good enough for me. Anyway, there was so much about this debate that, to me, was reeking of a setup. That it isn't even a debate. It's just for optics to try to influence the public one way, preferably for the Dems, the other. So take that however you will. I'm just going to leave it at that. Let's move on. Garland. I don't know if I can end this one, so I'll let you guys talk about this.
A second here. Okay, all right. Yes. I'm unmuted. Okay. Angel and I had a discussion about Garland. Oh, hold on a second here before I'm going to timestamp this. Angel and I had a discussion about Attorney General or about Garland before the show, and Angel brought some stuff to my attention. So I am going to break with protocol here, and I am going to allow Angel to bring us up to speed on this particular topic. And also, folks, I'm going to have to cut topic number 7 off. We are at 2:45 right now, and we still have 2 full topics left. 3, if we throw in Amanda Stenberg. Look, Amanda Stenberg and Tommy Robinson are both being moved. And by the way, Rierson, if you could be so kind as to throw that in as a reminder for me, Stenberg and Tommy Robinson will be on 384 next week. But yeah, we need to get this moving here. We're gonna 7. I'm not going 4 hours tonight. So topic number 7 is done. But for this rare topic, I'm going to allow Angel to bring us up to speed on what happened with Merrick Garland, and then it will be the normal order. Keep in mind that, yeah, we are pushing 3 hours here. So, Angel, you get to go first.
Okay, no problem. A few weeks ago, on the 14th, actually, of June, a couple of weeks ago, the DOJ said they won't be prosecuting Merrick Garland after the House GOP tried to get it to go through, and of course, the rhinos didn't help, and the Democrats didn't help, so they refused to allow this to happen. Now, what just happened a couple of days ago is now Mike Johnson and several others in the Republican Party are going to sue literally the government and to get Mike to get the
Merrick
tapes.
Garland.
The tapes from to get the tapes that Merrick Garland it's holding back. Now, how useful this is going to be as to the debate, I don't know. I've already seen what Biden looks like, but the purpose of this being done is, of course, that what they're trying to do is they're trying to not only see the documentation that was put forth here when it came to the inquiry by Robert Hur, but they're trying to also link that to the way that Biden said these things and the way he spoke. I mean, you can read something and read a lot into it, but when you can hear the person's voice and the way they sound, their tone, their gestures, even if it's only a verbal thing, I don't know if it was recorded on video also, but when you could actually at least hear the voice, you could put a lot more stock into their train of thought if they even have one. We saw it in full display at a debate, but it's very important if we are going to go ahead and push, Biden out of office, right? You need to have this evidence. This is how an impeachment happens. They should have been doing this a year ago. But unfortunately, the Robert Hur investigation and all that took a long time to go through. But now the point is, since it didn't pass on June 14th, now coming up this week in the next 24 to 48 hours, we're going to find out more information on whether or not they're able to push forward anyway. And if they are, there could be a possible lawsuit and even prison time for AG, Mr. General, Mr. Merrick Garland. And it's looking more and more like this is something that needs to happen because this man is not only obstructing justice, he is responsible and a conspirator into everything that's been happening in the border, everything that's been coming in, which we're talking about record number of illegals, in the probably 13 to 18 million that have come in under Biden, bringing in all these drugs that we were talking about earlier. And this is how a lot of this is flooding our streets. And I live in a place where we have a lot of illegals that have showed up within the last year and a half or 2 years. And I have gone into personal conversation with a lot of these folks. And yes, I can dispel rumors. Yes, they're being given money. Yes, they're being given money in credit cards. Yes, they're being told they're going to get license and a place to live, and they're given free phones. They're initially put up in hotels. These things did happen to the people that are in the area I live in, okay? And one thing that was demanded by them was that, and when I say them, I'm talking about the liberals that allowed these open borders, was that they had to vote blue once they get their voting card because they're going to be rushed to be able to drive and get voter registration cards. This is what the open border was about. When Joe Biden and the campaign said, build back better, they're building back blue. And this is how they're doing it. They're forcing a new slave people which are coming in to vote blue. And in the mix of all these people that are coming in, they're going to be slaves to the blue system. They're also bringing in a hefty amount of drugs for the Hollywood, for the elites, for the also trafficking of human beings like women and children that are being trafficked in. Gang members are being brought in. Trump wasn't lying when he said that. And by the way, in the debates, one of the things that they said that Trump lied about is because he said the Joe Biden called black kids super predators, and he didn't lie about that. There's tapes about Joe Biden calling them predators, which he misspoke because the term was super predators, and Hillary Clinton even used the term super predators, talking about Joe Biden's speech in the 90s. So the term was correct, but what Trump did was say the actual term itself that was being used as language back then, super predators, and I was directly referring to black children that become thugs and run the streets because they grew up in homes that had no family structure. And this is again who your president is. This is why the open borders is happening. This is why AG Mayor Garland is hiding these tapes. They're afraid that we're going to be able to match up what Biden is now, and we're going to be able to say, yes, this man has full dementia. This man cannot lead. This man is not fit for office. The only problem is we all saw it in full display. So to what point these tapes are needed right now, I'm not sure. But it's very simple. If he's not full capacity to withstand trial for the crimes he committed, which is on this, it's on this report by Robert Hur, if he cannot stand trial because his mental capacity is not there, then how can he lead this country? This man's entire time as president has been a scam and a fraud by the left. Many investigations need to happen, whether it's Trump doing it or just the DOJ or whoever. There needs to be investigations as why this man was allowed to continue and who is really running this administration. It's Jill Biden, who is co-running it with the Obamas, the Clintons, and the big cabal, global elitists who are all behind this and feeding the overall campaigns of these individuals. And that's, they also includes the industrial war machine and a lot of other things. And I could go on and on and on, but I'm not, because I know we're short on time. So with that, that's my up-to-date on everything that's going on. So again, just to recap the very important part, there is going to be possibly a lawsuit because they're going to push forward, even though that it was denied through the Congress and the Senate. The first time on June 14th, it looks like Mike Johnson's going to try to push through and try to get those tapes released anyway. So we'll see how that goes.
Okay, yeah, thank you. That's why I want to have Angel going first this time. The video that it's a couple of videos that I saw. The one they had with Tim Pool, they had obviously some Democrat leftist shill on, and what they were discussing in that particular video was the fact that Steve Bannon was going to jail in 5 days, and if they did not make an attempt to pursue charges against Merrick Garland for doing pretty much the same thing that Steve Bannon was doing, and there was a hypocrisy, and this guy just went into like double speak and word salad to try to justify it. And it's like what Espino was talking about, though, is true. They have to, for the sake of consistency, they have to go after Garland for this. Otherwise, basically, the whole system of government is nothing more than just a sham. And regardless of what happens in this particular situation, the bottom line here is the fact that this particular administration is corrupt. They're evil. They are globalists, and they will do anything they can to stay in power or act as though they are above authority. Now, this is not the first president to do this. George Bush, the younger Bush, I can't remember his name right now because it's getting late. The one that was president from 2000 to 2008. Why am I drawing a blank on this? But I don't. I mean,
Obama.
George Bush Jr. Yeah, George Bush Jr. Yeah. He also had an attorney general that basically tried to pass a legal precedent that said that the president was above the law. And one of the things that was originally written into the Constitution is that, nobody is above the law here, at least according. So they have to go after Merrick Garland.
Wasn't that John Ashcroft?
Yeah, that was John Ashcroft who came up with that concept of with the president. Yeah, Ashcroft was not a particularly likable individual either, by the way. The whole situation with that is that that's my point on it. And again, it wasn't a particularly good week for the Democrats because topic number 6, and I moved Amanda Stenberg and what she did in terms of Disney. That got moved to next week. I also had to move Tommy Robinson into next week. I may have to add a couple of topics and maybe have an additional show on Thursday when I get back into town because so much happened. But it was generally not a particularly good week for the Democrats all around. And topic number 6 will bring that to the front even more. But Garland does have to be held accountable. I believe Biden exercised executive privilege on this, but I'm kind of like fading out here, so I don't know. Can't remember the exact details. And because I can't remember the exact details, I'm going to turn it over to Roger.
Good move. Good move.
Earlier, I was talking about Biden and his son and the hearings that are going on in Washington right now, and like this right here has to do with them trying to impeach Biden, okay? And that's what this is all about. But it also has other he also has other things to go against, because his son right now is also being brought up on charges for things that he had done in the Ukraine that was illegal, and they're also trying to pin Biden on communicating with his son during a certain situation that happened where his son got on the phone, or it was on the laptop, I believe, one of the two, and they were having a conversation with one another, and it was brought up during some of these hearings, and they haven't been able to get access to the communications during that. And with this one, it's also the same thing with this attorney general, and I've mentioned it before. This whole freaking proceedings has everything that I've had my arguments about. One was the Department of Justice. Every time you find some dirty shit going on, the Department of Justice is right in the middle of it. Another thing that I have an issue with is plenary powers. And plenary powers is what I was talking about when I was talking about Congress being able to frickin' have executive powers like the president, where he can frickin' he can pardon people. That's a plenary power. Congress has plenary powers as well, where they can frickin' tax people. They can set the tax rates and stuff like that, and there's no contesting it, because they see it as, since we elected these people into office, then we gave them the right to make those decisions without our vote, because we voted them in to do it in our place. And that's their reasoning for all that. Well, right here you have it where frickin' the Department of Justice is involved in this stuff, and the Congress isn't able to get frickin' this information, because the president did frickin' do the executive. He did his executive powers. He made it to where frickin' they can't touch it. And another thing that they mentioned too that I find kind of distressing is they were just as concerned about these tapes getting out, because they felt that the Republicans are basically on a witch hunt, and they're really adamant about pushing that the Republicans are on a bush hunt, and this is just feeding the MAGA to where frickin' they can use it politically in campaigns. They could cut up the tapes and use it as like stuff for on ads and stuff of that nature. Just stupid nonsense. But the thing of it is what they wanted to do is something that's happened in this debate. They wanted to show that frickin' Biden was becoming incompetent and not able to take care of himself. Well, I mean, I think that became apparent with this debate. So with that being said, then there's really no reason to be throwing that up in a political commercial about these tapes. So since that's already out of the way, why don't they just release these tapes so that it can be presented to Congress? I mean, that's my common denominator right there with the whole situation. But that's not going to happen, because there's a lot more that's involved that these people don't want to have a conversation about. They don't want people to know about. And like I said, there's a whole lot of stuff going on here. I personally think that Joe Biden's ass is in a sling, and this is the only way for him to stay out of jail. Now, out of the two, they both know that his son's going to prison. There's just no way of avoiding that. But if they can frickin' show that Biden's incompetent and he's just a poor, innocent old man, then he might be able to get out of it. That's basically how I see it. He could have been drunk, like I said, on stage, but I also think that it could also be just him playing the role, playing an act on, so that he can frickin' use this for later on, because you just have to face it. Biden's not going to be president for another 4 years. And I agree, I've said it even out loud. I mean, he's been the worst president ever in the history of the United States, and we've had some bad presidents. So, but this one takes the cake. He's just horrible. I'll go ahead and pass on that one.
Okay, V, take this topic out.
He fell asleep.
It's possible.
I didn't fall asleep. Just had a little bit of technical difficulties here.
Yeah, sleep.
Yeah.
Wake up, young man.
Yeah. Well, all right. So, don't want to be here all night. So, I guess. Oh, wow! I'm taking the rear. Great. Is this as big as this is?
Whoa, buddy.
All right. Yeah. So I think if. Oh man, you got a lot of stuff here. Hold on. Why are you guys always flooding chat? Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure if I have too much of an opinion on this. Really, I don't know. I have no opinion on it, really. I know that's a bummer to end the show, but
we're not ending the show yet. We still got one more topic to go. I reduced the topics by one, but that.
Well, listen, I've already said my piece on this. The protesters had every right to do what they did. So the Supreme Court is kind of right. The Supreme Court is constitutional. When you go to the Supreme Court, you're talking about constitutional issues. What these people did, they had a constitutional right to do what they did. What should happen is that these people should be not added to a terrorist list or go to jail or anything like that, but they should have some sort of counseling. What are your grievances? What made you storm the Capitol? Okay, you got your grievances, we'll work on it. Please don't kill us. That's how that should have went. Okay? Now, I know it would set a bad precedent if to inspire other people to constantly riot or protest, but damn it, that's what this country is about. If something ain't working and we want to voice ourselves, you're not listening, well, then you should probably be removed from office. Should be drugged out of office, tarred and feathered, sent down the street. If not straight up removed from office by the barrel of a gun. Our Constitution supports that. What these people did was not illegal. I hope to see more of stuff like this, actually. I really do. This was a great example of people actually using democracy in a way that the Constitution supports. I'm all for anybody's right to be heard. Again, problem is they're not listening. One of these days, they're just not going to be listening so much that they're not going to hear the train that's going to run them over. They're going to find themselves underneath the wheel of a F-150. They'll start listening. So, yeah, I think the Supreme Court did their job. And with that, since I've taken Richard's place, I don't have to put on a gimp suit or use a ball gag or anything, do I?
Yeah, no, you don't. And by the way,
Okay.
we're talking about the Supreme Court. We were actually talking about you're talking about Merrick Garland. But yeah, let's just get on with it.
Okay. He was way off.
Yeah, I was listening and I was like, you're on like one topic ahead of yourself.
Oh,
yeah. I think he just caught a Biden.
No,
he woke
I
up.
have no opinions on number 5.
Okay.
Okay,
he was thinking from the future. That's what it was. He was in the future, guys.
Yeah, pretty much.
All right, so let's just take this out then. All right, so the last topic, and by the way, yeah, I will set up something, and we'll probably have to do an additional episode for this week because we just have a lot of stuff that happened again. Or we'll have to have. Well, I don't want to do another long one. All right, so this last one I threw in again, and I did say at the very start this was going to be a very politics heavy show tonight, and I meant what I said. One of the guys that got arrested on J6 basically got arrested for obstruction, and of course, the Biden administration being with the Biden administration, they went and they got really heavy-handed with the people on J6 and charged everybody. And one of the guys actually had the financial resources to fight the Biden administration and got it all the way up to the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court voted 6-3 in the guy's favor, meaning that you can't charge someone, and what it basically came down to is you can't charge someone with obstruction unless they're actually destroying documentation or disrupting the state in such a way that it would not be able to function. And that is not what happened on January 6th. Everybody knows that. So they're going to have to drop a whole pile of J6 charges. Not that it matters, because if in all likelihood when Trump gets reelected, all of these people are going to probably be released. And among other things, the Biden administration, the Obama administration, and a lot of people in the FBI and the Justice Department are going to have some explaining to do and some lawsuits to face. And I wouldn't mind finding out what the fuck Ray Epps was doing over on July 6th, like officially, and why he was never charged. I mean, they did charge him, but they never really went after him. You know what I'm saying? They went after some woman for touching a table that got taken out of the building, but she didn't actually steal it. They charged her, and they're still and they charged this one reporter who never actually went into the building. He just simply stood by and reported what was going on, because that's what reporters do. So there's going to be a few heads that are going to roll, and this is probably the start of it. Bottom line is that obstruction didn't really work. Merrick Garland is obviously quite upset about this, but I mean, Merrick Garland just dodged a bullet, and he may have just dodged one bullet only to get hit by another one, as Angel was pointing out. So, you know what? This particular episode, at least the back end of it, is more or less just like almost like a mini celebration for the corrupt Biden regime and just the absolute shit kicking they took this week. Keep in mind, if a government took this kind of a shit kicking on a regular basis for several weeks in a row, they probably wouldn't be allowed to be in charge anymore. Like, I'm really hard pressed to think of the only other time I saw any type of an organization absolutely flame the fuck out like this was back in 2016, the end of 2015, when feminists literally could not stop being stupid for about 2 or 3 months and continuously stuck their foots in their mouths over multiple issues. And it was just a bad year all the way around for them, and they never really recovered from that. And that still wasn't as bad as what the White House did now. I mean, this week alone should be enough reason to show why the Biden administration shouldn't be reelected. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Roger.
Now, with me, I think that freaking what appalled me the most about that was when they started calling it an insurrection. I personally don't feel that it was an insurrection. I feel that it may have been a riot. You can call it a riot, whatever, you know. And I know that there were things that happened there that was pretty bad. I think they said a couple of Capitol Police or security, ended up dying and stuff, but they ended up doing that to freaking people who were freaking the rioters too. They had that one girl, she was a freaking vet from freaking the Iraqi war. She was crawling through that freaking crawl hole, and they just shot her point blank in the head. They didn't even know if she had a weapon or not, just blew her away right then and there, you know. That was a freaking woman who served for our country, you know, was a veteran, came back only to be shot by freaking somebody who she served and protected. I find that appalling too. And whenever it comes to these pipe bombs that were mysteriously found all over the place, I still kind of find that suspicious as well, considering that all of these supposed people who were doing an insurrection left all their weapons in their freaking trunks. Nobody mentions that. It's not like they were in the freaking Capitol building with their guns left and right. They actually left them in their vehicles. And that's something that freaking really stuck out to me, but mysteriously they find pipe bombs behind washing machines and laundromats and shit, which was coincidentally like blocks away from where the actual incident took place. So there's a lot of things about that situation that really don't make sense to me. And well, it makes sense to me, but it just doesn't add up when they try to say that what it is. Now, contempt of is something that freaking, you're right. He got out of it, but his day is going to come in the end if they do this right. I don't really see much popping out of all this, to be honest with you, because I've told you my bit about the whole thing with the Senate and with the Department of Justice, and the whole reason for the Department of Justice being created in the first place is it's supposed to emulate freaking the Supreme Court. See, the Supreme Court interprets the law, and the Department of Justice enforces the law for the executive branch. So after they interpret the law, if the Department of Justice freaking wishes to pursue to push that law, then that's fine. But they, by all means, don't have to. And you've seen in history where they've been pretty shifty about things, like Bill Clinton meeting with that what's her name on that airplane. They just completely blew that off. She was a part of the Department of Justice. They completely blew it off like it didn't even happen, and from that point on, it's always been the Department of Justice that's been involved with this, the shady dealings and stuff that goes on in Washington. And my personal opinion of it is we need to be done with the Department of Justice. Before they had the Senate and they had the Department of Justice, freaking the Supreme Court interpreted the laws, and those laws were handed down to the states, and the states took care of the way freaking these laws were freaking enforced. It wasn't Washington, D.C., and I think that would have been a better way of doing it. Allow our police forces and our state freaking governments to take care of these issues and leave the Department of Justice out of it altogether. If I was a president, I may not be able to close them or shut it down, but I would freaking close the doors. I'd fire every member of the Department of Justice and just leave the offices empty until the next president comes along, if that was me. But that's my take on it. I'm done.
Angel.
Yeah. I pretty much cannot say I disagree with anything that Roger said, because I think he was pretty much on point. There is a lot of investigations that need to take place here, before the big election, and I think we're all pretty much aware of that. This is at this point, again, it's become no secret that a lot of things need to take place, gentlemen. I don't really think I can add much more. Roger did a pretty damn good job. But look, the obstruction of justice stuff with our folks from January 6th, it's a joke. I mean, look, there was no insurrection, folks. And, just to hop on to what Roger was saying, the insurrection clause has not been used in any of the trials. They keep saying Trump participated in an insurrection where he has not been charged with insurrection. Nobody at all in the thousands of arrests that were participating on January 6th. Not one single person has been charged with an insurrection. So when you hear the narrative on the news, that is exactly why they're called fake news. Because again, this is just a fake lie, it's a fake narrative. It's to push minds that don't know the facts into voting, with their feelings. Because it's all about how we feel, and we're told that the Orangeman is the bad guy. Okay, so it's all misdirection, but the fact is there was no insurrection, no weapons. The only human being that died that day, okay, was trying to actually get the crowd to move back, and because she was, trying to like stop people, and her head went into like that glass hole, and she was literally with two officers behind her. Ashley Babbitt is the only one that got shot in the neck and died. Okay? No police officer died that day, so that's a lie they keep feeding you. The footage they've already put out there, that's a lie. It's all nitpicking footage. And look, I could put any amount of footage together and make it look good or bad. Anything. Even my last bowel movement. I can make that look glorious, and I can make that look tremendously bad. Now, it's all on how you edit it, right? This is why a lot of that footage, they don't want you to see it. This is why the Robert Hur, audio, they don't want you to hear it. The left, who claims to be transparent in this country of the US of A, are the least transparent people on the planet, folks. And you have to be indoctrinated and part of their plan, right? If not, you get kicked in the balls and thrown to the streets. And even those who go along with the plan, sometimes when you become useless, they kick you in the balls and throw you to the streets. Just ask the Cuomo brothers. They played the game. They both lost their gigs. Why? Because somebody else didn't like them. That means they're cannibals. They eat their own. Once they don't like you, bye-bye. Doesn't matter if you play in the same party. They do what they want. And these are the radicals. Not just regular, typical liberals or the mouthpieces in some of these networks. The radical left. The ones that are really Marxist. They're the ones that are really fascist. The ones that are really working with the big global cabal. And my friends, November is coming up, and I think that is the way we get out of this for temporarily anyway in this country. Unfortunately, more people need to become awakened to what reality is on a global scale, because there is still a lot of people on the left here in America. I know in other parts of the country it's different, based on your political, formats you have there. Like what is in Canada? Red is actually a Democrat and blue is Republican, kind of like right.
Yeah, red is blue and blue is red. Actually, that's
right.
The case over in Europe as well.
Right, so it flips differently than in America. So I want to make sure for anybody listening in other countries, just because I say right here doesn't mean it's right over there. I'm not trying to sound like I'm losing my shit here. Understand it's a difference of countries and the way we do things, but we have to, whether you believe it or not, unite as a common ambassadors of good. And tell these evil cabalists and these evil-minded twits to take a back seat, chill the hell out, stop trying to destroy the planet with their BS, and we need to get back to basics. And we need to not just destroy everything and rebuild, because you destroy whatever nation and you try to rebuild, guess what? It's always going to be somebody in charge, so it's going to be some political power. That always takes place. Okay, so what we need to do is actually take control and fix the situation of what we have now. It's not running away from the problem. It's fixing the problem. This is why too many people in other countries want to come here, because they're running away from the problem instead of staying in their own goddamn country trying to fix the problem. And with that, I yield back.
Okay, V, take us out. Oh, that's right, V. You already said your part on this, didn't you?
Well, I do want to add, if there's any real justice in the justice system, they wouldn't do the things they do, because, pardon, but the charges were trumped up. Yeah, just like they were talking about that table, there was a guy who moved a podium. They charged him with theft of the podium as well. Felony theft, government property. They dropped the charges for him. He's one of the first, I believe, that they dropped the charges for, because he signed an agreement saying he wouldn't talk about the events there for a certain amount of time. That contract is up. And he's doing radio shows, which is great.
So it was like an NDA?
Yeah.
An NDA?
Gag order.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. NDA, yes. Yeah. So, if they would have just, these are the kind of charges that can bury you. I think he got probation in that agreement. So, but the idea of being charged with felony theft of government property when you didn't take anything, everybody saw that you didn't take anything, there's no evidence that you took anything, even they have the podium still. Such a miscarriage of justice. This kind of crap needs to stop. With that, I'm done.
Okay, yeah, we will be doing, like I said, I wanted to do some more tonight, but yeah, we're running at 3.5 hours here. So it's, I'm just going to thank everybody for showing up tonight. Yeah, we have Tommy Robinson and the stuff with Amanda Stenberg. I didn't want to go into Amanda Stenberg because it's after 1 o'clock in the morning already. I need to get to bed here. So I will probably throw in a couple more topics, and maybe we'll do something Thursday. Maybe not, but that is it for 383 tonight. Thank you very much for showing up. And I gotta say it, man. And I think everybody here will agree. The Democrats had an absolutely shitty week this week, and I think it looks good on them. That's all I'm going to say for tonight.